You're strapped in to a live radio broadcast on Pure Rock Radio.
Just about everyone and their dog has a website or uses a domain name like yourname.com. Thanks to our partnership with GoDaddy, the leader in hosting and domain name registration, we can offer all our listeners big savings on everything GoDaddy offers. Go to purerockradio.net/GoDaddy for a full list of coupon codes to save on hosting your website, registering your domain name, and much more. You can even switch to GoDaddy anytime to start saving, and our coupon codes will never expire. Every time you use one of our coupon codes, it benefits you, Pure Rock Radio, and all the shows we carry. So thanks for visiting purerockradio.net/GoDaddy today. Try coupon code POD167 to save 10% off your GoDaddy purchases today.
Welcome to the Used Bin. All music, all the time. What are you listening to? Used Bin Radio. Cute.
It's magic.
It's like magic. Hey, boys and girls, it's Tuesday night, and you know what that means? It's time for Used Bin Radio. We want to thank you all for joining us. We're going to talk about tunes tonight, tunes we like, tunes we don't like, and all kinds of fun things.
Oh, it's just giddy.
And there's going to be cookies and pie.
Oh, it's delightful.
It's delightful. How you doing, brother man?
I'm ruling the world. How are you?
Very good. I am Joe Mama. To my right is Brad Hirsch.
Good day.
We are your hosts for this evening's proceedings. We got a big show planned for you. And here's what you want to do. If you want to participate in the conversation, and we hope you do, we want to know what you've been listening to. We want you to dial the following digits.
Do it.
888-405-7440. Or tell the good people where they can email us, brother man.
usedbinradio@usedbin.com. I just thought I'd get.
I like the way you did that syncopated with the 7/8 little riff there. That's very cute.
It's nice, right?
So, yes, we got a big show planned for you. A little later this evening, we will have our featured guest, Franke Previte. And if you're not familiar with Franke Previte right now, you will be by the end of the evening.
Well, then you haven't been listening to this show very long. That's
right. Franke Previte has popped up a lot on this show recently. Franke used to be in a band called Franke the Knockouts in the early 80s. They had a string of big hits, and he is, I think I'm safe in saying, brother man, that he is our first Academy Award winner that we've ever had on the program.
Is that true fact? I would imagine that is true fact.
I think that's a true fact.
Yeah.
And more about that later. But before we get to Franke, we're going to tell you about some tunes. Later tonight, we will be hopefully joined by Rachel, the Metal Warrior Princess, so that you could get all of the latest music news that you need to make it through the day.
And there's lots of it.
There is lots of it.
Lots going on this week in the world of music.
That's right.
Rachel will update us on all of that.
And there was a lot going on Saturday night here in Los Angeles. So I want to bring you up to speed on that.
Okay.
Let's just dive right in, shall we? Since we're getting our prog on here.
This is so good. Turn this up, though. This is fucking good. It really is good. I think we need to start the show with like epic prog at the beginning of every show.
Yeah, because we've never done that before.
That's good though, right there, isn't it?
It's beefy.
This magic pie. It's really good.
It's very proggy.
I'm truly enjoying myself right at the moment.
Well, I truly enjoyed myself on Saturday night. And Saturday night, we had Stephen Wilson and Aviv Geffen of Blackfield roll through Los Angeles on what was the final night of the U.S. tour of Blackfield, supporting their new album, Welcome to My DNA.
Welcome!
And it was a very delightful evening, let me tell you. It was more than delightful. It was beyond delightful.
Joe.
It was even beyond cute.
Have we not discussed the difference between delightful and like anything else?
Refresh my memory.
Okay, delightful equals gay.
Okay, well this was not very delightful.
So what kind of night was? Let's back up and start from the beginning.
Okay, so Steven Wilson and Avi Geffen from Blackfield came through town for the last night of the Welcome to My DNA tour.
Welcome!
And it was large.
There you go.
It was
good.
large.
Oh, it's good.
It had girth, and it was beefy, and it was massive, and it was very exciting.
There you go.
Better word?
No, you're doing good.
Okay, I'm on a roll now.
Doing good. Right.
So let me tell you a little bit about it. First of all, the opening act, and this was a great treat for anybody that's into Steven Wilson, Blackfield, Porcupine Tree, Magic Pie, any of that. It was a real treat. The opening act was Jordan Rudess from Dream Theater.
From where?
We've talked about that band before, I have a feeling.
And we actually talked about him before.
We have.
Yeah.
And he was doing a one-man solo keyboard show. No singing, but he did talk a little bit in between. But what a huge show he put on. I'm going to read off the set list because this is large. Do you know what he played?
I don't. He was doing his Beethoven, right?
Oh, no.
No?
No.
Okay.
No. He opened up with a classical piano version of Dream Theater's Hollow Years.
Wow,
and
nice.
It was a large way to open up the show. And then he went nuts.
Crazy.
He went nuts. He said, he's so excited to be on this tour. He's good friends with Steven Wilson, obviously, and he knows all the guys in Blackfield, and he's been having a good time. And he alerted the audience that at this point in the show, we're going to get our prog on.
Nice.
And he launched right into Blood on the Rooftops off of Genesis' Wind and Wuthering album.
Very good.
And it was large. He followed that up with a classical piano version of a little song called Hey You off a little album called The Wall.
I've heard of it.
And it was large. Followed that up by a cute little tune you might have heard of called In the Court of the Crimson King. And it was large.
Oh, he went nuts.
He did go nuts. Then he brought out a special guest. Steven Wilson.
I've heard of that guy.
And the two of them did a duet version of Porcupine Tree's Even Less.
Oh.
And it was very large.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
No singing.
Steven sang it.
Okay, he did
Steven sang it. It sounded just like Porcupine Tree because I think there was like programmed drums going on and he was playing all the keyboard parts and Steven was playing, like serious like metal guitar and singing, and it was very large.
Nice.
He then proceeded to do State of Grace off one of the Liquid Tension Experiment discs.
Nice.
It was large. And then was sort of the salesmanship portion of the evening where he let everybody know that in addition to working on Dream Theater and doing solo albums and touring with Blackfield and doing all that good stuff, he's very involved in a new app for iPad 2, which you can basically play keyboards on an iPad.
Yeah, it's the Morph Wizard, right?
I think that's what it's called, yeah.
It's out. I've actually played with it on an iPhone.
Well, he played with it on stage.
It's really neat.
And he did a jazz fusion improv prog thing completely on an iPad. And he was showing everybody the screen and showing where he was pressing, and then he just went nuts. And it was big fun.
Were you okay with all that?
I was very okay with that. It was large.
But it's technology.
That's okay.
All right.
That's okay.
You could do that on an iPhone.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Then, and maybe this is what you were alluding to, then he went into a piece of very avant-garde classical music that he had written, which basically sounded somewhere in between like a prog version of a Danny Elfman score and the intro to 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence.
Oh, wow.
And it was a little long. It was about 10-15 minutes long, and I'm not sure that all of the audience grasped it because there's a lot of time signature changes and a lot of notes.
Yeah.
But it was very cool, very involved, and the dexterity on this guy is just off the charts.
Yeah. Did he play a guitar at all?
No. He just stuck to keyboards and iPads.
Was it his keyboard setup, his full setup?
No, not his full keyboard setup from Dream Theater. Although he had computer screens and gizmos and gadgetry and all that good stuff.
He didn't have the. Did he have the turning key? Was it on a swivel?
No, he didn't have the swivel.
Hand?
Didn't have the swivel.
I look at that thing like I don't know why, but that thing always like gets my attention. Is the big hand that holds up the keyboard on the swivel?
That's nice.
I don't know what it is about that, but I dig it. I think it's really neat.
Yeah, no, it was big. And then he closed his set with a piano version of "The Spirit Carries On."
Oh, excellent.
And he even had the crowd singing along.
Sure.
It was really a nice set, and it was large.
Is he the modern day Keith Emerson?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think
really
so.
Is.
And I wasn't aware of this until you pointed it out to me just a little while ago before the show. But on his covers record, Jordan has a record. I think it's called "The Road Home."
Yeah,
where he does a record of all covers. Mm-hmm. He apparently does a 20-minute one-man version of ELP's Tarkus.
He does.
That's got to be worth the price of admission there.
It's that right. He also does another Genesis too. Does he do "Dancing on the Volcano"?
Dance on a Volcano?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that could be.
What else is it? I can't remember what else he does on there, but yeah, he he's such an interesting guy. I think more so,
and he's got an interesting beard too.
Yes. I find him more interesting now since the whole Portnoy leaving the band and the Mangini stuff and all the stuff we got to see as far as the process of finding a new drummer, and through those videos and whatnot. I just find him to be so interesting.
Yeah,
he is the mad scientist.
He definitely is. In fact, we were joking during his set that wouldn't it be funny if he brought out his wizard's hat? But he didn't.
But it wouldn't be shocking.
It wouldn't be shocking.
Like, it would be funny, but not surprising. I mean, he's just an interesting guy. I think he really is. Like how he eluded Dream Theater before he ended up in the band is sort of a mystery. If you think
apparently,
about it.
And I remember hearing this, although maybe somebody could confirm this tonight. Send us an email if you know this story. But I seem to recall a story that either Petrucci or Portnoy or somebody used to tell a while back that when Awake came out and the original keyboard player Kevin Moore was leaving the band, they needed to tour that record, and before they ended up getting Derek Sherinian, who did like a two tour of duty with Dream Theater around that time, before they ended up getting him, I think Jordan was actually in the running, or maybe even did a one-off show with them at some point, because they were close friends with Dixie Dregs, and at that point Jordan was playing with Dixie Dregs, and so I have a feeling that he was either in the running or maybe even did a one-off show with them at some point.
It just surprises me though that he wasn't like a go-to guy, not necessarily maybe even at the beginning, not pre-Sherinian, but post-Sherinian. He
was the guy after Sherinian. He was the guy they went to immediately after Sherinian.
Okay, so I'm saying post Kevin Moore.
Yeah.
So pre-Sherinian, post Kevin Moore.
Yeah.
How they didn't go get him almost right away is interesting.
From the story I'm alluding to, I think maybe he was even, no offense to Derek Sherinian, he was great. I think Jordan might have even been their first choice.
Yeah, I would think.
But I think I remember that he had obligations with Dixie Dregs and other stuff going on, and couldn't make it happen. And it wasn't until towards the end of Derek's tenure with Dream Theater that Petrucci and Portnoy started doing the Liquid Tension thing, and that's where they first recorded with Jordan, and then it was just a natural that they brought him in.
God, when we saw that first Liquid Tension tour, man, that was just cuckoo.
Yeah,
it really was.
That was insane.
Like, there's some shows, and we talk about it from time to time.
That was not delightful.
No, but like the Return to Forever show that we saw, a couple years back, and there's certain shows where you just, you leave that thing going, what in the hell was that?
Yeah.
Like that's a week to just sort of process everything you saw, and that Liquid Tension show is one of those nights where you're like, fuck, really? Did we just see that?
It's funny, as a musician, all right, I'm a musician.
Okay.
I've been in bands for years, but as a musician, there's lots of shows that I go to, and I leave shows sometimes so inspired, and I want to go home and go sit down in front of the keyboards or pick up my guitar or, you know, start working on music and start playing. There are certain shows, though, like Liquid Tension or Return to Forever, where just the opposite happens. Yeah. I leave there and just feel like, you know, like wow, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, those are just...
Takes me a while to get inspired after a show like that to sit down and play music.
Yeah, it's very true. And there's been a few of those shows where we've walked out of going, wow, what? I mean, that was just nuts.
Yeah.
It's rare that a show so far exceeds your expectations going in, because you and I try to keep things to, like, you know, within reason as far as, you know, shows we're going to see. You go to a Maiden show, speaking of Dickinson, right?
Right.
We go to a Maiden show, we pretty much have a good idea.
Well, we weren't speaking of Dickinson, but we are listening to him.
Yes. Well, that's what I refer to. We sort of know what we're getting into, you know what I mean? Our expectations are very within reason. And then every once in a while, you'll get completely blown away and you go, wow, that was way more than... But for the most part, the shows that we go to, pretty much within reason. Not a show like Return to Forever, or not a show like Liquid Tension.
Right.
Not at all.
Yeah. So no, because I leave a Maiden show and I immediately want to go home and like write some galloping bass lines.
Yeah. I want to go buy T-shirts. Yeah. That's what I want to go do. I want to go buy one of 472,000 Iron Maiden.
That's
shirts.
fair. That's fair. But
Blackfield.
But Jordan was one of those sets where you just realize, wow, you know, not a lot of guys have the dexterity that this guy has on a keyboard. Yeah. And like you said, he's the wizard, you know, as far as the technology. He's the master of technology. So, yeah, I think it's a fair point. I think, he's the modern day Keith Emerson.
I think so.
Because he's certainly got the classical and the jazz influence that Emerson had, and the dude can play.
Yeah, he's got the shtick too. He's got like the Keith Emerson shtick. Not maybe as much of the personality as far as, like, you know, stabbing your keyboard. Yeah. But he's got the shtick as far as all the equipment, and he's got the stuff going on, and he's got the swivel on the keyboard, and he's got like sort of the shtick. Yeah. I'm waiting for the 1940s operator setup behind him one day where he's going to pull that off, but. That's what I guess where I see the similarities between him and Keith Emerson.
He also has, and I was just thinking about this just now while you were talking about it, but he also has something that the only other guy that I know that really does this is Steve Rothery from Marillion. Yeah. But I'll just refer to it as the prog nod of acknowledgement, and that is kind of like while he's playing, when he goes off into like a segment that he knows is really like intense in prog, and the audience hears it and knows it's really intense in prog, he just kind of smiles and gives the audience the prog nod of acknowledgement. Like you know what that was.
Yeah, it's like he appreciates the fact that people get it.
Yeah,
because that's something so easy to go right over somebody's head. You know what I mean? Because if you don't know what you're getting into, first of all, you probably shouldn't be at that show. Right. But in this case, where he's an opener for Blackfield, and Blackfield is certainly not the most proggy band in the world. When he can do something ultra proggy and then somebody gets it, he probably feels a little bit of like a, there's like a what's the word I want to say? There's a kinship between him and the audience when it comes to that. And so a connection, so to speak.
A fellowship, if you will.
Yeah. A fellowship of the keyboard.
That's right.
That's right.
So so Jordan was excellent, and then we were getting ready for the main event, and we were very excited because this was only my second time seeing Blackfield. Obviously, I've seen Stephen Wilson with Porcupine Tree many times over the years, and he never disappoints. But there's something special that happens when him and Aviv Geffen get together. They do have some good call on the Marillion. They do have some very progressive moments. Right. They raise into some almost metal levels at times. There's some soft acoustic stuff. There's balladry. They're really all over the map, and it's a very diverse show. And it's funny. Before the show even started, one of the topics of conversation amongst our little group of people was, and we've talked about this on the show before. We've talked about the yaya phenomenon, right?
Yes.
There's this girl who apparently follows Stephen Wilson around, and we've heard, I've never seen her, I don't know what she looked like or anything like that, but we've seen her pop up at Porcupine Tree shows and heard her pop up at Blackfield shows and on various bootlegs from different cities around the country or even around the world. I'll listen to a Porcupine Tree or a Blackfield show or be in a venue at one of those shows, and at some point during the evening, during one of the quiet bits in between songs,
right,
some girl, and you can tell from the voice, it's always the same girl, just yells out, "Yeah, yeah!"
Right.
"Yeah, yeah!" So
right.
we've always talked about the phenomenon of the "Yeah, yeah" girl, and we've always wondered, what does this girl do?
She
just we heard her.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll get to that in a second. But so Blackfield comes on, and they wasted no time. They launched right into one of the heavier moments on the new record, the song "Blood," which was a great opener. And let me just say that in the last couple of weeks, as we were just getting familiar with the new Blackfield record, I'd made comment that it's a really good record, but I thought it was a little bit lighter than the previous two Blackfield records, and I wasn't sure how it would translate live. Well, no worries there. The way they blend the new songs with the old songs, it's really all very consistent, and it all sounds like Blackfield, and the new songs sound much more impressive, I think, live than they even did on the record.
Well, the thing with Stephen Wilson that, the one thing you can always count on, and I mean, you can count on him like the day is long, is that arrangements and the way he puts together a set list and the way things are going to sound live are always going to be perfect. He pays such attention to that kind of thing that you would never hear something like, maybe a song that sounded out of place in a set. Like, that doesn't happen at a Stephen Wilson show, whether it's Porcupine Tree, Blackfield, whatever it is. It just doesn't work that way. He understands how to put together a set, and he understands how to take the audience on a ride. He knows where the peaks are, and he knows how to bring it down, and he knows how to bring it back up again. And he's really, really, I think he spends a lot of time on it, and he's super conscious about it.
Yeah.
So you can always count on something never sounding weird or out of place. Like, how often do you go to Porcupine Tree show and go, huh? Like,
and maybe only once when the first time I heard him do Bonnie the Cat. I thought that's a little odd.
Well, that song in itself is odd, but it was perfectly placed.
But it was perfectly placed,
and that's the difference.
And that was certainly the case with this set. Just the way he has.
Not a fan of that tune.
No,
not
your go-to.
Maybe not my go ever.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Even Less. And let me just reiterate, the version he did with Jordan was stunning. I'm hoping I can find that on YouTube somewhere because it was that good. I want to revisit that. But so they opened up with Blood, and like you said, Stephen Wilson, not only does he have a great understanding of the way an arrangement works in a song, he really knows how to craft a great set list, because this really flowed beautifully, it had it dipped into some nice tender moments and then raised to levels of power and then went off into sort of eclectic tangents, and he was really all over the place, but it all made musical sense. So after Blood, he hit you with their theme song, their title track, if you will, the song Blackfield, and then just rattling some stuff off. They did Glass House and Go to Hell from the new album, which Aviv...
Go to hell, go to hell.
Which Aviv introduced as a song that he wrote for his parents.
Oh, nice. Oh, good. Very good.
Oh, wow. Marillion and the Jellyfish. This is the Joe playlist tonight, isn't it?
Pretty good.
They did Open Mind, Pain, DNA, Waving, which I know you're a fan of that.
I really like that tune. The chorus on that is just nice.
Yeah, the sort of la la la, nice. Midsection. The crowd was singing along. Yeah. It was really good.
It's almost an anthem type of chorus.
Yeah, indeed.
Not the Rush anthem, of course.
Not that one.
But the arena anthem.
And not the Ayn Rand anthem either.
No, because that's an awful lot of notes.
Yeah.
If you're gonna play the book.
Yes,
it's tough.
They did 1,000 People. They did Once, which has that sort of whole Hot for Teacher drum intro, which is really lifts everything to a arena rock level.
Who else is in that band besides Aviv Geffen?
It's a great question. The great question. He introduced the guys, and nobody from other bands that I recognize. I'd be hard pressed to remember the names right now, but
some guy named Neil Neil Peart, I think, plays drums.
No, although his security guard was in the house that night.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, I know that Neil's been to many LA dates of Steven Wilson's projects before, but he's got a little tour with the little trio right now. So
he's good friends with Gavin.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's Neil's on tour.
That's what I understand. Yeah.
What's his project he's working on?
Mahogany.
I was probably still stuck on not liking Bonnie the Cat.
Yeah. But it was an excellent set, and there was some interesting. Aviv Geffen is a very interesting character on stage too. I remember the first time I saw him, he came out and he had like blue sequined eyeliner going on, and he's got a whole weird like makeup, and some of these songs are very dark and very sinister and very kind of I'm going to off myself and go to hell, and it's fairly dark.
That's good.
But this time around, there was no blue sequined eyeliner. Instead, he came out with this jacket that like blinked with like red lights. The whole thing was like covered with red blinking lights. It was very unusual because he came out and the whole stage was black, and all you saw was his coat.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
well, that's very cool.
And at one point, I remember he was just wearing his black T-shirt, and he pulled his black T-shirt over his face, and he sang into the mic through the T-shirt, and it was all very sort of, death row-ish.
Nice, creative.
Yeah, it was really fun.
So not John Mitchell.
Not John Mitchell. Why? Why am I drawing?
I know I'm drawing.
John Beck.
John Beck. So
Paul Simon's Graceland.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting.
That's weird.
And he was very, very excited and very open about the fact that he loves the fact that he's sort of the go-to kid right now. He's the it guy when it comes to doing the remixing and remastering, because he's got some heat right now, and if his name's on the project, it gives it some credence, and not like Clearwater Revival, by the way.
No, but you meant credibility.
Yes.
There you go.
And he loves the fact that he can do this, because I think given his preference, he would what?
Are we good?
Yeah, we're great.
Okay, just checking.
You okay over there?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
I think given his preference, I mean, I know he loves working on the Porcupine Tree and the Blackfield and going on tour, but I really get the feeling he likes to just maybe sit in a studio with some headphones on and just get under the hood of some of these.
He gets a chance to be a fan.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets to geek out like he did when he was a kid.
Exactly.
And probably put every idea he had the first time he heard those records.
Right.
Probably gets to put them to good use.
Yeah.
Unlike you and I, we just sit here and talk about it.
That's right.
He gets to actually do it.
He actually gets to do it.
Yeah. It's cool. I know. I read on his Facebook page that he was doing Aqualung, and that was the one that escaped me, which I think will be so interesting because there's so much going on that record that is probably buried, and that will add so much depth to that record, which is a great record as it is, and probably one of the most seminal progressive concept pieces ever written.
Yeah.
But it'll be nice to see. It'll be nice to hear his vision of what that record should sound like.
Absolutely.
And, that's the problem with some of these older records is they're just yuck because the technology just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it sounded great back then, but there's a lot of records out there that really need to get that, whether it's Steven Wilson or just somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you need the real remastering.
I'd personally love to hear him. I know that they just did the Genesis box sets within the last 2 years, where Tony Banks personally oversaw the remixing and remastering of their entire catalog.
Right.
But even having said that, one of the very, very early albums, Trespass, I think that needs the Steven Wilson touch, because it's from that same era of like 1970, where the technology just wasn't there. But I think he would take a whole new, fresh approach to a record like that. I'd love to hear him do something like that.
Yeah, it's important too to get to distinguish the difference between remastering and remixing, because how many bands do we know, you know what I mean, that have released 47 different remasterings of their catalog?
Iron Maiden.
Right, Iron Maiden, Kiss,
Iron Maiden.
It's just it's enough already. Like with the remastering, someone needs to get under the hood of these records, get the master tapes and remix them. The remastering
to be
is
fair,
fun.
remastering is really just kind of adjusting the overall volume and cleaning up some of the noise. Remixing is where you really get the creativity of going under the hood and saying, "Wow, this keyboard part really needs to be tweaked," or "Those drums sound really thin, and I can do something about it."
Remastering can only brighten up a record so much, whereas whereas you're absolutely right. When you remix a record like that and you can get into it, you know what I mean, and really dig deep. And look, I have no experience in any of this stuff, but I can tell the difference between an original sounding record, a remixed version, and a remastered version of all three. I can listen to all three of them and tell the difference. And the remixing is where you really get, like, you get the brightness of everything, and you get the real guitar sound. You can actually hear some of that. They can bring out the solos and bring out some of the vocal tracks or whatever it is, even the keyboard tracks. So, you know, and I'm glad that he's the guy, because I don't know that there's a bigger, you know, fan of that genre of music than Steven Wilson.
And I think he's glad he's the guy. Like he said, you know, he could do this all day long. And he's aware of the fact that we talked about this, that the reason he thinks that a lot of the labels and a lot of these bands are coming to him is because this really is sort of the window of opportunity where this is sort of the last chance to get these things out where people are going to buy physical product. And I think everybody's sort of aware of the fact that this is the last go-round. 10 years from now, we're not going to see a new version of Aqualung. This is pretty much the line in the sand right now.
I don't know, though, because the technology may be there where digitally, you know, with FLAC or whatever the latest technology will be to make it sound as clear as possible will be out, and you'll be able to, like, get some of these remastered versions where they sound just as good as maybe a physical product would, you know, where you could download it or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But yes, it'll be, you know, very limited run of those things, and then it's going to be all special limited edition. And that, I'm honest to God, I am so on the download digital bandwagon. I think it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, any way to get access, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Quickest, easiest way to get access. 2 clicks and I'm listening to it. Sign me up.
Okay.
So, don't you think?
Absolutely.
So I'm not crazy. What do we got going on here?
We got a phone caller coming in.
Sure. Good evening to you, and who would be in the used bin?
Hello, guys.
Hey, Darren. Darren, how you doing tonight?
Good. Is everything okay on you guys' side?
Why? What's going on? Are we having technical difficulties?
Yeah, I'm just hearing you guys cutting out a lot. You know, the singer who had the hit, Sometimes When We Touch.
Right.
It was a very introspective read, I must say.
What made you decide to read that book? Are you a fan? Or?
I don't know. I don't know. It just, you see a book in the bookstore or at the library, which I sometimes go to, and it's on the shelf, and you think, man, there's just something about it. I just got to read it. So
sure. Oh, that's great. So it was an interesting story?
Yeah, well, he kind of talked about, like, you know, his rise up the ladder for stardom, right? And just how people only know him from that one song, although he's written other hits for other people as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Franke and the Knockouts.
Very appropriate.
Right.
Yeah. So,
very good.
Can you imagine him getting, like, Franke, you know, all those royalties from the Dirty Dancing soundtrack just for 2 songs?
Right. Yeah. Well, we're certainly going to ask him about that tonight.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if he is set for life or not. So that's definitely on the list of questions. So very good thinking on your end.
Yeah, and I haven't been listening to anything new. Just been reading a lot of books and biographies. Just like I say, on people that I like listening to sometimes. So that's pretty much it. I
have a question for you. Have you seen Rush yet, or is that coming up soon for you?
June 30th.
Oh, okay. So end of the month.
Yeah.
So is that like the last night of the tour, or it's got to be last couple nights of the tour, right?
Second last night.
Oh, okay. Very good.
They're playing the Gorge on the 2nd.
And that's the last night.
Yeah.
Very good. Oh, you got to be excited about that.
Yeah. I in a way I am, but I don't know, just because it feels so far away, you know. I mean, I'm not trying to be an impatient guy, but it's like, okay, come on, June 30th,
right.
You know, come around.
No, it's okay to be impatient.
And then when it finally happens, it's like, oh, okay.
Right.
You know. trying to hold on to that moment.
Yeah, it's a good point you bring up, Darren, because and we've talked about this a little bit, but it seems like the last couple of years, shows that we get tickets to, it seems like they go on sale much, much further in advance. I mean, it used to be that you would get a show and it would be 5 weeks from now.
Right.
And, and everybody was, you had a chance to, you bought the new record when it came out, you heard a couple of tracks on the radio, you talked about it with your friends, you're getting excited, and right about the time they come through your town is right when you're peaked and primed and ready.
Right.
Now it seems like some of these shows go on sale, 6 months in advance. Was it just this past weekend? I think they put tickets on sale for next year's Coachella Festival.
Oh, right.
Which is next April. Which is what is that, like 10 months in advance?
A lot of those festivals do that, but like what you're saying, Joe, as far as like putting these tickets on sale so early, is I think a lot of these bands, they're getting these huge advances from promoters, and so the promoters want to try to sell out the tour in advance so they can make their money back.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It's strictly a financial issue, much more so than it used to be when it was really fun to go to concerts. When you weren't getting the ticket and the tuchus fees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah, it's like Christmas season. They're already preparing for it in September.
Yeah.
I mean, back then it was like late November, and it's like, why so early, right? Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, it's all business, and it's all a money thing. And look, there's good and bad to it. I mean, it's good because you get excited to know who's coming to town. You get to put it on the calendar, and maybe you forget about it, and it pops up, and you go, "Oh, look what I got coming up." And,
sure.
So at least you kind of can plan it out.
I already know the set list, so it's like I have to kind of disconnect myself from what I already know just to pretend I'm already knowing it for the first time. That's what I don't like about YouTube. The mystery is gone now, right? It's like you know everything.
Well, only if you go.
Well,
I try to avoid some of the YouTube, especially for a show like this where we know, pretty much what we're getting. I try to avoid the YouTubes, and so at least it somewhat feels fresh. But yeah, I totally know what you're saying.
But Darren, let me tell you this about Rush. You may know what's coming, and you might even know the order that it's coming in, so that you're not surprised when they play it. But it's so good. Let me just tell you that that they're going to play the Camera Eye, and it is better than you could ever imagine. Yeah. So this is one of those rare times where I would say, although you know what's coming and you know the order it's coming in, it far exceeds expectations when they actually play it.
That's it.
Yes, I know, Brad. I know. That's why, nothing really beats the concert experience. Like, you have to actually be there. Yeah. YouTube and the CDs are just not enough. Yeah, and that's why you guys go to concerts, right?
That's right. That's it.
But I want you to be excited, Darren, because you just sound like
get
you're just
excited.
Sort of,
Rush is coming.
I want you to be excited, man. This is a big night.
I'm sorry. I'm getting over a cold right now. So.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
All right. I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize publicly for saying what I said. Then. I apologize.
But I'll just say this: I have a bone to pick before I let you go.
Okay.
Okay. I was just reading something on David Arquette, I think it was.
Okay.
And he was at a Prince concert at the LA Forum, right? You guys were at that gig. And Prince says, get out your camera, get out your phones, right? Obviously, he says you can take photos of the concert. So the kid's doing this, and the security guard walks over and tells the kid, you have to erase all your pictures on your phone. So David Arquette tells the security guard, well, hey, Prince said we could take pictures, so both of them get thrown out of the venue. Can you
That's
believe
weird.
That?
That's very strange.
Yeah, that's an LA Forum security issue, assuming that you're talking about one of the Forum shows.
Security guards and their big egos.
Sorry, say that again?
Those security guards and their big egos, you know what I mean? Like, good grief.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, that's a drag. That's too bad. I'm surprised that Prince didn't even see something like that happening. Oddly enough, he's got so much of his own security that I'm surprised they didn't notice sort of what was happening. So
yeah, but you're right. He pretty much had a policy where everybody was pulling out phones, taking pictures. Dude, start getting excited.
That's right. You have Rush coming to town, and better than that, in about 12 minutes or so, you got Frankie from Franke and the Knockouts on the line, and I know that you're excited about that.
Yeah, okay.
Well, there you go. At least we got a laugh out of you, pal.
That's right. All right, partner.
I'm not that excited, Brad, but thanks.
Please get excited. Please, Darren, get excited.
Okay, yes, okay.
All right, buddy. Have a good night. Good night. Darren, please get excited, my brother. What can a brother do to get my friend Darren excited? That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying.
Just to wrap up the Blackfield evening.
Yeah.
So the last couple of things we talked to Steven Wilson about were some of the things he's got in the works right now, and we talked about the fact that he had just produced or co-produced, I guess, the next Opeth record, and that's coming out shortly. He also has finished, he told me, the Wilson Ackerfeld project.
Well, yeah, that's right. We've been hearing a lot about
and
that.
they will not be touring it because apparently it's, in his words, orchestral and untourable. So if there was any question about what that record was going to sound like, if it was going to be death metal or something like that, it's not. It's orchestral and untourable. And then he has the next Steven Wilson solo album coming out, which he will be touring. And then it's time to get back together with the guys from The Tree for the next round of that next year.
Oh, good. Well, I'll look forward to the solo tour for sure.
Absolutely.
For me, no interest in Opeth. And wait, before you do that, turn this up for just a second.
Sure.
And I'll finish my thought.
No time to sleep or stay up late.
A little Colin Hay for you.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Men at Work.
I love it. Anyway, yeah, no interest in Opeth. For me, it just doesn't work for me. And
I'll catch that tour.
I'll give it one listen. The Ackerfeld Wilson thing, especially if it's as kooky as it sounds.
Yeah.
And then I'm on board for the Steven Wilson solo tour.
Very nice.
There you have it.
Very good.
All right, let's rock.
Let's rock. Here's Blackfield, and this is a live version. So
Don't go crazy.
I'm getting crazy.
Don't go crazy.
Bin Radio. What are you listening to? Early 80s, and they did a couple of records. They had a lot of hits. They had almost
Sure.
and the
Still
Boys.
a good song.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, when did this record come out? The first Bon Jovi record was what, like 84?
84.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Well, let me show you what was going on.
They opened for Rat.
Let me show you what was going on about 3 years prior to that with Frankie and the Knockouts. I see a similarity here. I don't
It's
think
so funny. There's like this is such an AOR song,
Well,
and
yeah.
the Jovi version is so much more of a rock song.
Well, sure, because when Frankie and the Knockouts were putting out their hits,
This is a Journey song.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Frankie and the Knockouts, I think, they certainly weren't like hard rock, but they were more in the vein, I think, of Toto, maybe the Doobie Brothers, maybe
Yeah.
Journey, like you said.
Yeah.
And they were exactly right for that period of time.
Right.
81, 82, they were just the right band. So I don't think he was ever credited for that, but it certainly sounds similar enough where maybe it should have been.
Right.
So we'll have to get into a little bit of that. But that's sort of in a nutshell the backstory on Frankie. And Frankie and the Knockouts right now have a brand new anthology out called The Best of Frankie and the Knockouts Sweetheart Anniversary. And like I said, it's the 30th anniversary of when that particular song, Sweetheart, was at the top of the charts. And that is available at Friday Music and all the usual Amazon, iTunes, etc. places. You can get that. They've also just reissued the entire Frankie and the Knockouts catalog. And one other interesting thing worth mentioning here is that the new Best of anthology that they have out, all of the proceeds are going to the Patrick Swayze Pancreas Cancer Research Fund.
Nice.
Which is a really noble gesture for his pal from Dirty Dancing, and also leads to the question...
His pal.
But also leads to the question of, once you get an Academy Award for a song like I've Had the Time of My Life, do you just not need the money anymore?
That's what Darren said.
Yeah.
That was Darren's question, and I think it's a good one.
So we're just about at the 8 o'clock hour here, so I'm going to play you a Frankie and the Knockout song. This is called Never Had It Better, and hopefully we will sort everything out here so that when we come back, we will have our featured guest, Franke Previte, in the used bin.
Sure.
I
What are you listening to? Used Bin Radio.
That's nice.
All right. Well, that was little Frankie and the Knockouts. Never Had It Better, which is extremely timely because on the line with us is Franke Previte. Hey, Frankie, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm pretty good. And how you guys doing?
Outstanding. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
That was kind of neat. You just put me on there, and there was Never Had It Better. I was like, hey, sounding good.
Hey, that's me on the radio.
You know that tune. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite tunes from that second record.
I got to be honest with you. It was one of my favorites too. I'm not going to lie. I was a fan. I saw you guys for the first time. This is Joe, by the way, and we're here with Brad also. And
right.
I saw you guys for the first time. I want to say it was like '82. You were out at the Greek Theater with Jefferson Starship, and
I remember
and
that.
you kicked my ass. It was a good time.
Well, that's good. I mean, the song Never Had It Better was like something that it was a jam that we used to jam with, and we didn't really have enough songs. So we had this jam, and I would just, make up words as an encore tune. I used to call, let's get together. I would sing, and then everybody said, why don't you make it into a song?
Nice. Well, that tune is on the new anthology, The Best of Frankie and the Knockouts, the Sweetheart Anniversary, and we want to talk all about that. But before we even get started, one thing we always like to ask our guests right at the beginning is, what have you been listening to lately? What's in your CD player these days?
There's a band that my son turned me on to called the Mummies. Something. What are they called? Trying to think of the exact name, but they're a horn band.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, but they're awesome. So I don't have the new CD in front of me. It's something like Carnival is the name of the CD.
Okay.
But and there's something the Mummies, but they're really, really good.
A horn band? You mean like, is it sort of big bandish, or is it more?
No, it's kind of like not Humble, but Average White Band.
Okay.
Funky.
Tower Power kind of thing.
Yeah, but Tower Power meets, it's kind of a combination of those two, but it's quirkier.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they're really cool.
That's really cool.
Very cool.
Here come the Mummies.
Here come the Mummies.
Here come the Mummies.
Hey, here come the Mummies.
Yeah.
They don't do a funny dance on stage, do they?
I don't know. I don't know if they do, but they're really funky. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. And what were you listening to back in the days before Frankie and the Knockouts? What are sort of your musical influences?
Well, back when I was a kid, I was listening to the Rascals.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was like my blue-eyed soul indoctrination to music. But my dad was an opera singer, so I had all these friggin' Italian notes that were coming out of my house.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
So
Your dad was an opera singer. That's pretty rad.
It is, and I always have to, fight from, trying to get the blue notes because he was singing all the straight notes, being an opera singer, more classical. And then, so, turned on to, the Rascals, and then, I listened to a lot of soul music, because, I love that old soul music with, Sam and Dave and all those guys. So,
right.
Back in the early day when I was, a little punk in high school and stuff, that's what I listened to.
Nice. Did Dad approve of your rock and roll expedition as opposed to his opera purity?
My parents always said to me, because I remember, sitting there and they brought this guy in from a college, and he was like, telling me all about the college, and I was looking out the window, and they said, my parents left the room, and the guy said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be a rock and roll singer. And he goes, you better tell your parents because they're about to waste a lot of money. So my parents came back in the room, and they said to me, you go to school and you get your 4 years in, and then you can be anything you want to be. So the day I graduated college, I didn't go to my graduation. I was on the road with a rock band.
Good for you.
Nice.
That's a good deal. That's a good deal.
Yeah, so I haven't looked back since.
So how did that original lineup for the first Frankie and the Knockouts album come together, and how did you guys get your deal? Did you do the club circuit and that whole thing?
We didn't. You know, it was an interesting thing. I was in a band called Bull Angus, which was on Mercury Records, and we toured with Rod Stewart and Cactus and Deep Purple and Fleetwood Mac, and played the Pocono Mountain Festival with about 300,000 people. We were more of a riff rock, like kind of heavy metal band. And, you know, when that band broke up, I moved back home and I signed with Buddha Records. And they tried to make me into, like, the white Stevie Wonder because, I could sing, you know, kind of soulful.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't feeling it, you know. I did Tony Camillo was my producer who produced Gladys Knight. And he was a Grammy Award-winning producer, but I wasn't feeling it because I was doing all this, you know. I still had shrapnel wounds, you know, from my heavy metal band.
Yeah. But you were a soul guy. Like, you grew up listening to soul. You would think that'd be right up your alley.
Well, you know, that's why, you know, the Knockouts were kind of like a blue-eyed soul rock and roll band.
Yeah.
You know, you have some songs that I'm rocking out, and then you have, you know, some softer, you know, sweetheart tunes, which Jimmy Einer, who was the president of Millennium at the time, said, don't put that fucking song on the record because he says you're going to get known as a pop band. He says, I'm signing you because of She's a Runner and Never Had It Better and those kind of songs. But RCA, you know, as soon as RCA heard Sweetheart and You're My Girl, they were like, no, we're making them into a pop band.
Right. No, I get that. There's some great tracks on there, and not just the obvious hits, but I get what you're saying, because some of the songs, there was no way you could call them a rock song. Like one of my personal favorites, Annie Goes to Hollywood, that must have made your producer cringe.
Well, you know what? I loved the tune, and you know, the producer actually loved the song, but with that said, you know, it was just another side of who I was and what I was writing. I think that holds more water than Sweetheart does, even though Sweetheart became our hit. You're My Girl was even more syrup, you know. So, you know, those songs, when you stick like you know, some of the other songs, She's a Runner, and you know, Annie, and what's them? Tell Me Why. There's some other songs on there that rock out.
Yeah. Right.
And then the second record with, you know, Never Had It Better and Just What I Want. Those two songs, you know, there's, you know, that more rockier edge that we were trying to portray ourselves, because we go out and play and rock out, and people were like, wow, we didn't know you were a rock band.
Yeah.
You know?
Was it a bit of a tug of war then, with the label trying to like suck the rock out of you?
It was, you know, for RCA, but Millennium, which was the label that we were on, wanted us to be a rock band.
Yeah.
And RCA, you know, what I did was, you know, I screwed up. I put the wrong bullets in the gun and I shot myself in the head.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with that said,
Right.
you know, we wouldn't be talking now without those songs.
Right.
You know?
And that's the funny thing, right? That's the irony of the whole thing. And we talk about this a lot, Joe and I do. Like, some bands, you know, they write that hit and it gives you sort of some freedom to sort of do what you want, but then you can't really do what you want because you get sucked into writing that hit again.
Yeah.
Right. Well, when they switched us, when Millennium kind of like shut down business and we went to do the third record, Making the Point, they sold us to MCA. And MCA was like, well, let's get Night Ranger's producer and remix the record, and we'll make them sound like Night Ranger.
Yeah, right.
And so they remixed the record and sent it out to radio, and radio was like, no, this isn't Frankie and the Knockouts. Where's Frankie and the Knockouts?
So weird.
And they refused to play any of the third album. And I was like, well, that's fucked up.
Right.
You know, because there were some good songs on that third record.
So yeah, you sort of got done in by your own label, by the guys that know everything. They don't know nothing.
Well, isn't that always the way?
Yeah, no, that's true. It blows me away.
Well, you have people that never wrote a song in their lives, you know, telling you to change the chorus of a song or rewrite the lyrics of this song. And you know, you stand there, scratch your head, go, okay, I'll do that, but tell me to what?
Right.
Can you help me? Can you point me to... No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, but I just don't like it, so change it.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
Well, at least people now will get a new opportunity to hear some of that, because a lot of the songs from the first, the second, and the third album appear on the new anthology. I wanted to ask you about one in particular. We played just a little bit of it earlier tonight, but there's a track called "You Don't Want Me," and we were discussing how it sounds more than a little similar to Bon Jovi's "She Don't Know Me." Is there a story there?
Yeah, there is. You know, Tico Torres, who is our drummer in the band, who plays with John now in Bon Jovi, we had just finished the record, and he gave me a call, and he said, you know, do you mind, you know, we did the record in California, so he went back to New York, and he just said, you know, there's this kid called me up, Bon Jovi, and he wants me to do some demos. Do you mind if I do them? And I said, no. And he goes, I'm gonna play him, you know, the record, you know, just so, because I'm proud of what we did on the record. And I said, yeah, no problem. And then, you know, I didn't hear from Tico for a while, and our record took forever to come out because of switching labels and stuff. And the next thing I know, I got a call from Tico going, don't be pissed off at me, but, you know, they came up with a song called "She Don't Know Me," and you know, when they started playing it, I just started playing the same beat as "You Don't Want Me" because it was so similar. I just, you know, I couldn't think of another beat. So don't be pissed off at me because, you know, I played on the track.
He was covering his ass.
I think Jovi should have given you a writing credit, I think, for that one. It's awful similar.
Yeah, it's kind of similar, you know. Neither song became a hit, so that, you know, there's
right.
Nobody really got hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, but let's be honest, though. I mean, you know, just between friends, because we're all friends now. That's your song, dude. I mean, you got done by Bon Jovi because that's your tune right there. And actually, Tico, you know, is a conspirator. So.
Well, you know, I've known those guys forever. You know, I've written songs with John. Richie tried out for the Knockouts. John used to come and follow the band going, you're my favorite singer, you know, he used to come backstage. So I've known him forever. Yeah. You know, so I consider that, you know, borrowing. They borrowed. If it became a hit, it would be famous.
Right, yeah. I got you. No, I see where the line is drawn. I totally get it.
So they were the other New Jersey band.
Well, at the time, yeah, you know, because you know, we came out, we had hit records, and you know, John used to follow us, and you know, well, I have to say though, he maximized his talent. You know, he worked really hard. You know, writing with Desmond was a major thing to help him become a good songwriter. Without Desmond, I don't know if you would have had a Bon Jovi Slippery When Wet. So.
Right. Well, everyone says, I mean, that, you know, a lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about Bon Jovi, but the one thing everybody says is that he is the hardest worker that you'll ever find. I mean, he really works hard to do well.
Yeah, he does, and you got to give the guy his perks.
Right.
We're doing that, you know, because he takes guitar lessons, he takes piano lessons, he takes voice lessons, he takes acting lessons. So, I mean, plus, you know, didn't hurt him that he was a pretty good-looking guy.
Yeah,
so.
No, that helps. Yeah, I have that problem, by the way. you know.
Yeah, I know. That's it.
Again, that's just between us. That's all between friends. Do you still?
Nobody else is hearing it.
No, that's right. God, I hope that's not the case. Otherwise, we're all screwed. Do you still write with those guys at all, or I mean, when was the last?
I talked to Tico about a week ago because he's doing some PR work for this record, you know, because he played on it, and you know, we're raising money for pancreatic cancer with the record. I'm donating all my proceeds that I make to the Patrick Swayze's Pancreatic Cancer Fund.
Oh, right, which is great.
And
very cool.
You know, he's helping me out. He's doing modern drummer for us, and he'll do some other, you know, Howard Stern stuff and some stuff in Europe for us. And Leaf Lee Fox, our bass player, plays with Blondie, so he's going to do some stuff as well to help promote the record. I think when you look back on some of the music that you did 10 years, 15, 20 years later, you listen with different ears. You're not so critical, and you go, oh, man, actually, we weren't too bad.
I love that you mentioned that Tico's going to be plugging this on Howard Stern, because just the idea of hearing Sweetheart on the Howard Stern show in 2011, that's really cool to me.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Well, it's for a good cause, so I think that, he was my best man at my wedding, so he's an old friend.
Right.
And, he's trying to help out, and he was blessed, so why not try to give back?
Sure.
Right.
There's a song on the record I got to plug.
Sure.
Okay.
There's a song, it's a bonus track called Beat of a Broken Heart. And that song, actually, Jimmy Einer, who was the president of Millennium Records, who sounded me for Dirty Dancing and why I wrote Time of My Life, said to me, there's going to be a Dirty Dancing 2, and this is going back like 1995, 96. And he goes, write something for a sequel. So I wrote a song called Beat of a Broken Heart, which he had on hold forever. And then Clyde Davis got a hold of, doing the music for that particular movie. It was called Dirty Dancing Havana Nights. So the song was submitted to him, and he was like, no, this is not a hit. So I want the public to hear that song and see if Clyde Davis is right or wrong. I want them to judge is Clyde right or wrong, because I still think Beat of a Broken Heart could be a hit record.
Well, maybe what we should do then is we should get a hold of the anthology, because I don't think we have it here in the studio, but we should get a hold of the anthology and we'll play it on the air.
Yeah.
Play it in its entirety.
Yes.
Randy didn't send you a copy?
Not yet. He did. I haven't received it yet, but by next week, I'm sure we'll be playing "Beat of a Broken Heart" on the show.
We'll make sure we do for sure. I wanted to ask you quickly, just before you came on, Joe and I were talking a little bit about like the difference between some of these old records, the difference between like remixing and remastering, and the different sounds. Did you remix any of these tracks, or are these just the original tracks?
The tracks were originally mixed by Bill Schnee, and then they got remixed by the producer who produced Night Ranger.
Right.
So then those tracks, there's a culmination of, some of Bill Schnee, some of the Night Ranger, and then some newer tracks like the Hungry Eyes is on there. I consider Hungry Eyes a knockout song because that was on my demo reel when I was trying to get a deal. And so Hungry Eyes would have been on a Knockout 4 record. So they were all just remastered, more, to bring out maybe some more bottom end and on some songs, and maybe some more mids on another song. But actually, I think it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So I agree. We actually played just a snippet of your version of Hungry Eyes also earlier tonight. And, I really love that version. And that sort of opens the floodgates for the conversation about how the Dirty Dancing thing came about. So you were doing demos for what would have been a fourth record. How did this all sort of develop into Dirty Dancing?
Jimmy shut his label, I guess it was 85, 2 years later, out of the blue. I hadn't heard from him. And I'm in the studio working with this guy named David Prater down in his basement, trying to do these demos. And he turned me on to John DiNicola, who I co-wrote the songs with. And John had this track, and I just said, do you mind? It was called Darker Side of Love, and I said, you know what? I don't even want to hear the lyric or the melody, but I like the track. Do you mind if I write a different song to it? So then I wrote Hungry Eyes. So Jimmy calls me, and he goes, I got this little movie, Dirty Dancing, and there's 146 songs that were submitted for the final scene. And, they're getting ready to probably film that scene in 2 weeks. So you got 2 weeks. So you think you can come up with something for that last scene? And I said, I really don't have time, Jimmy. I'm trying to get the track from John DiNicola. I'm listening to it. I go, let me play it over the phone for Jimmy. So I play it over the phone. He goes, I really love the track. Make a song out of it. So on the way to Prater's to do, finish up some of these other demos, I'm sitting in the car on the Parkway exit 140 on the Garden State Parkway with a cassette, going, in the time of my life, scribbling time of my life on an envelope.
Right.
And that's where the song, that's where it was born.
How long did it take you to write that?
It took about a week, and I sent it in. I didn't hear anything from them for about 2 weeks. And then Kenny Ortega, now I don't know if anybody Kenny Ortega is a choreographer, has done, just a ton of stuff.
Wasn't he was working on the Michael Jackson, This Is It?
Yeah, he did This Is It, absolutely.
Right.
And so Kenny calls me, and I didn't know Kenny from Adam, and he's screaming on the other end of the phone, "You did it, man! You did it! Wow, man, you did it!"
It's a knockout.
Hold on. I go, "Who is this and what did I do?"
Right. Yeah. You looking for the cops or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was screaming, and so when I met Patrick Swayze at the Academy Awards, he said to me, I need to know who sang the demo. And I said, I sang it with Rochelle Capelli. And I said, why? And he goes, we had gotten that tape came in with 4 songs on it. Yours was the 150th. We had listened to 146 up to that day. We were getting ready to film to a Lionel Richie track.
Wow.
And he goes, we were like bummed. We were like, this could have been a good movie, but now that we don't have an original song for the movie, let's get this thing over with. Let's just forget about it. And he said, after we heard Time of My Life and we filmed, we were like, holy shit, what just happened? And he said, we had such a great ending. He goes, we took on this other camaraderie to go make the film. He goes, so it really changed the whole vibe of the movie.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. It would have been very different if they put Baby in the Corner and Lionel Richie started playing, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's a line he refused to say. He was like, that's the lamest line. I would never, ever say that line.
Isn't that always how it works?
They had to force him to say the line.
And it became iconic.
Yeah.
It did.
It's funny, right?
Go figure, it sold 50 million records.
Right.
And RCA and Vestron Films had no idea they had a movie. And I know that because when they put Time of My Life out, it was 34 with a bullet on an AC chart, and then Vestron moved the movie back about a month, and RCA was like, where's your movie? And he go, well, we forgot to tell you, we moved it. And they said, take your movie and shove it. So the movie came out, and Vestron was only going to put it out for 1 week and put it right to video. And within 1 week, 300,000 people went and back ordered the record.
Unreal.
And by the time RCA could print a record, there were 1 million records back ordered.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
That's nuts.
That just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It just shows you that the power of the fans. Because the machine tripped and stalled.
Yeah.
And the fans, the people, that's why Dirty Dancing is so popular. It's the people that created it.
Sure, it was a cultural phenomenon when it came out, and thanks largely to that song and that culminating scene there. So,
but you know what? If you took out one of the parts, like Patrick didn't play the role Jennifer, or the song wasn't there, I don't think you had the phenomenon.
Right. Do you remember the first time you saw the finished cut of the movie?
I did. I was in a screening in New York, and sitting next to John D. Nicola, and actually, we looked at each other and said, "This could be pretty cool." And the people in the theater stood up and applauded. So, and then we went to this red carpet, not a red carpet, but like a big party afterwards where Patrick was and everybody. So it was kind of neat. I said to Jimmy, I said, what are you going to do now? I said, the record was 34 with a bullet, and now it's 34 with an anchor. So he goes, we're just going to tell radio we remixed it. We didn't like the mix, and we're just going to release the same record.
Genius.
And that's what happened.
I love that.
Was there ever any possibility for either Hungry Eyes or I've Had the Time of My Life where you were going to do the lead vocal?
Well, Hungry Eyes, when I submitted it, they actually filmed the movie to the demo, and Jimmy Einer called me and said, "Would you like to sing it?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be awesome." So, I went and got time at the power station, and got the band together, and was getting ready to record, and I got a call from Emil Ordolino, who was the director of the film, and he was talking about what's the BPMs for Hungry Eyes, because we're having a hard time linking it to the film, and BPMs means beats per minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, why do you need to know that? I didn't record it. I'm recording on Monday. And he goes, oh, shit, you don't know that Eric Harmon's going to sing it.
That's a shitty way to find out.
Yeah, it was, but, when I said something to Jimmy, he goes, just be, kind of be happy you got the song in.
Yeah, right. And then, of course, in the aftermath of this this cultural phenomenon, the Academy Awards come rolling around, and when it's time to get nominations for Song of the Year, suddenly your name appears on the list. What does that look like, and who were you up against that year?
Oh wow, Princess Bride. Trying to think.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah, Andre the Giant.
Nice.
He was the best part of that movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
All right, anyway, sorry. As I digress.
There was a Diane Warren tune. What was the name of that?
There's always a Diane Warren tune, right? Isn't that a rule?
Yeah, I think so. I think every year since then there's been a Diane Warren tune.
What is it with her?
I know.
I went to Russia with her.
Really?
Well, they picked 25 of us to go to Russia with Barry Mann and Mike Stoller and Diane Warren and me and a bunch of other people, and we did a songwriter summit with 25 Russian songwriters.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty major.
Yeah. She's like a hit machine, man, that Diane Warren. She just churns them out like, you know what I mean, like butter. Yeah, it's amazing.
She was all pissed off at me because we won the Academy Award and she didn't win that year, and then we won the Golden Globe, and she was up and she didn't win it, so she goes, "How many times are you going to do this to me?"
That's funny. That must have made it a wonderful trip to Russia because it's such a short trip.
Yeah, it is. But she's had so many hit records, and I think she was just nominated this past year for a Golden Globe.
Probably.
Yeah.
So how surreal was that night, and what is the aftermath like for winning an Academy Award for Best Song?
You're there, and I'm sitting in the middle of the row, so I tell the guys, who are sitting at the end of the row, I said, don't run up there right away because they'll start the clock, and I'm stuck in the middle of the row, and then we'll lose like about 20 seconds, and somebody's going to get beat for their speech.
Good thinking.
Right. You got to get those BPMs down.
Yeah. So, of course, then the winner is, and they run up there, and I'm like stuck in a row.
All right.
And, so I get up there, and I was able to, thank the people I needed to thank, but, John DiNicola missed out, and, Markowitz was all freaked out because, he didn't get enough time to thank all his people, but you're kind of like floating up there because it's like, holy cow, this happened to me.
Yeah.
If I had a dream about, what award or something I was working toward, it would have been a nomination for a Grammy. But,
right.
That year was so over the top. Grammy. I was nominated for a Grammy. Golden Globe, Academy Award. So it was stupid.
Yeah, it's got to be nuts. I mean, the whole, that's got to be just completely outer body experience type stuff.
It was.
Wait a sec, I have the list of what was nominated now.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I got it.
Somebody emailed us?
Nothing's going to Stop Us Now, I think it was one with Diane Warren.
Yeah.
And then there was, what was that guy's name? Not Cadillac. Coupe de Ville or something.
Well, let's see, you got Shakedown from Beverly Hills Cop 2.
The Empire.
Cry Freedom. It was George Fenton.
Yep.
And
there you go.
Let's see, Storybook Love was the Andre the Giant song.
Right.
Let's see, what did I miss here? Shakedown, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, Cry Freedom, and your song. Yeah, that was it.
That's it.
That was
nice.
it.
And I'm sitting there with my dad sitting next to me, and he heard all the songs, and he goes, "I just heard all the songs. You're going to win." I Dad, don't put the Maloiki on me. Don't give me the horns right now.
That's funny. So
I honestly didn't imagine I would get like a, sort of a Ronnie James Dio reference from Franke Previte tonight.
What was it? Oh, yeah, that's right. So what happens after you win the Academy Award? You make your speech, you walk off stage. Do you have to go into that weird little room where they question you and do all that?
Yeah, you go into this press room where all they're taking pictures, and then they interview you, and how do you feel? And, I'm numb. I'm numb.
Do you get a lot of dumb questions?
You know what? I don't even remember one question because I was so numb. Yeah. Like, it was like, did this just really happen?
Right.
And there was an after party, so, you're hanging with some pretty heavy people that you've seen only on TV or in movies and stuff like that. They're sitting at your table, and so it was surreal.
Right.
Yeah. And then the next day was kind of neat because I got sounded by Samuel Goldwyn, to write a song for the movie that they had coming out that was Julia Roberts' first movie called Mystic Pizza.
Sure.
And so I go in there, and they had the musical director who was Barry Mann's. He was his manager and stuff, so he's trying to negotiate, a deal with me. And he goes, "Well, how much do you want to write the song?" And I said, "This much." And he goes, that's a lot of money. Barry Mann doesn't get that kind of money. And I said, "Well, then," I said, "You're managed Barry Mann?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Then you're doing a shitty job."
Very nice. Did you get it?
I did.
Attaboy.
Nice.
That's what I like to hear. So you become like the it guy, right? Like you win an Academy Award and the next day you're the guy.
Well, for a minute, you're the guy for a minute.
Right.
And so you try to parlay your minute.
Right.
But the minute's good because the award is big.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, when people say, "Who's your manager now?" I just say Oscar.
Yeah. That's right. He guides the way for you.
Nice.
Oscar lights the path.
Amazing.
All right, I gotta ask this, and it's probably a sensitive question, but I'm just gonna ask it anyway. So you have this iconic song that even now people associate it with that movie, and it sold so many million copies. Do you never have to work again?
I don't.
That's
don't.
beautiful. I'm so happy to hear that. That's great.
Well, it's the song that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Because you get a commercial like Sandals, or then you get the Black Eyed Peas who use it in one of their tracks, so the dirty bit, and then it gets played on the Super Bowl.
They sampled that? Oh,
sure they did.
That
no, they didn't sample it. No, it's not a sample. They actually sing the chorus.
Oh.
And they just, use our chorus, and then they do their verse, and then go back to our chorus and use their verse.
Yeah.
And so it's another copyright. It's another version called the dirty bit. And Will.i.am actually called and, was clear in that, would you rather have it be called this, or would you rather have it be called that? And so, we had a little bit of say in that.
That's nice.
And now there's going to be, which I can't believe, I'm stunned when they called 2 weeks ago, but there's going to be not a sequel, but a remake of the original Dirty Dancing.
Oh, wow.
I mean, how can you milk that cat?
No joke. Well, it's Hollywood, man. They find any way possible.
It's unbelievable. But with that said, it's going to be like a modern version, like a nowadays version with young, hip music, and so I'm gonna sound Will, to try to write with me again to do something.
Oh, that's great.
Cool. So that's very cool. So you get to be a part of this.
I'm hoping they want to use a version of Time of My Life in it. So, I mean, Dirty Dancing, I don't see it as being Dirty Dancing without that song.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a stage play that's like in Europe, that's in about 5 or 6 different countries. That's the fastest selling stage play in the history of London, Germany, Australia, Toronto, all these different places. And, it's unbelievable. It's like today's Rocky Horror,
Right.
Yeah.
That's it's just amazing to me. Like, one last thing on the Dirty Dancing, because I know that this gets like talked to death, when you're doing interviews and stuff, and we're we want to talk about the the anniversary edition of the CD and all that kind of stuff, and Frankie and the Knockouts. Sure. It just blows me away. Like, when you have that moment, like that 1 week in your life, it really changed your life. I mean, your life hasn't been the same since you turned that tune in, right?
It hasn't.
Amazing.
It hasn't. And I have to say I was blessed, because I had no idea what that movie was about, except for a 5-minute synopsis that Jimmy Einer gave me. And to write those lyrics for that movie and not know anything about it, really, it was the man upstairs wrote the song.
Yeah.
That's tremendous.
Amazing.
That's tremendous. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Franke Previte, formerly of Frankie and the Knockouts. They have a brand new anthology out called The Best of Frankie and the Knockouts, Sweetheart Anniversary Edition. And as you mentioned, Frankie, all of the proceeds of this are going to the Patrick Swayze Pancreas Cancer Research Fund. What was your take on him, on Patrick Swayze, during the making of the movie? And did you have a friendship or relationship with him afterwards?
I did. I did a couple of charity events with him. He came to the East Coast, and we were able to hook up and spend some time together. So that's where the personal side of getting to know the guy, and not besides being the actor, but the guy who he portrayed, Johnny Castle, to me seemed like the same person, as Patrick was. He was just a down to earth kind of say what was on his mind. He was, had a big heart, but yet, he was like the perfect greaser.
Right. Right.
So I really enjoyed, spending time with him and getting to know him, not on a huge level, but, the few times I spent with him, I realized that I was around somebody special.
Right. Well, the fact that all the proceeds are going to that is one more reason why people should check out this, and there's some great music you're going to hear on there.
I like to tell people where they can get it.
Sure.
Friday Music is the label that I'm on. It's distributed by Warner Brothers. You can go to your local store. You can go to iTunes, or you can go to Amazon. And they have us on Ping now on iTunes. So if you go to Ping, they'll say, Frankie's doing an interview tonight with you guys.
Nice.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So it's it's a cool thing to just kind of let your fans know where you're going to be and what you're doing, and listen in and kind of let them know that this is a good cause and it's close to my heart. And if everybody gave $1, it would help. It'd be a start to stamp out this screwed up disease that took somebody way too young.
Right. Agreed. Now, I'm sure most of the interviews you do concentrate a lot on Dirty Dancing and Frankie and the Knockouts and the anthology and maybe the Tico Torres angle, but that's where this show is going to end up being a little bit different, because we have an angle that we want to talk about that I'm sure doesn't get brought up too often. But besides being big pop guys and pop culture guys, our listenership is largely a heavy metal contingent and a progressive rock contingent. And so I got to ask you about one of the Frankie and the Knockout alumni, Charlie Dominici, who later went on to Dream Theater. What does that look like to have Prague guy in Frankie and the Knockouts?
I knew Charlie from living up in Poughkeepsie, and he was one of the players that was always around. Really good singer. Charlie was always a really good singer.
Yeah.
And it got to be a time where Billy Elwood, the guitar player in the band, and Blake Levinson really weren't good singers, and the songs I was writing had all these harmonies and things, so I needed more voices. So I asked Charlie to come on tour with us. And, he was like the second guitar player and backup singer. And, he in fact, one gig I had, I showed up late because they had me doing interviews. And the band started, and Charlie was out there, doing a couple of songs, knockout songs. I was like, go ahead, Charlie.
What was Charlie doing when you asked him to do? Was he in a rock band at the time? Was he touring?
You know what? I think he was in a band, but I'm not quite sure the name of the band. And the Knockouts had hit records, so it was a chance for him to get on a little bigger circuit.
Yeah.
And get himself playing in arenas and in front of 10,000 people a night. So he jumped at the opportunity.
Right.
And he did a tour with us. He did and he sang I think a background on a couple records.
Right. And so not long after the Knockouts ended, Charlie got the gig with this band Dream Theater. Did you listen to any of that when it came out, and how did you respond to that kind of thing?
You know what? I didn't. But he sent me some stuff recently of what he was doing. He's actually in a blues band now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, doing some blues with the old keyboard player from the Knockouts and the old drummer, the original drummer, Claude Lehanoff.
Wow.
And he's doing a blues thing, and it's actually very cool.
So you guys have stayed in touch?
We do. Recently I've reached out to these guys since the record came out.
Right.
John Regan, who we used to call him Skinny, but John Regan was the bass player, was in Bull Angus, and then he went on to play with Frampton and then Ace Frehley. And so I got a call from Skinny or John Regan about a week ago going, if you're putting the Knockouts back together, I'm in.
Right. Why aren't you putting the Knockouts back together? Let's just cut to the chase, Frankie. Come on.
I think I put the record out. If enough people want us out there, I'll come out. We'll put the band together and we'll do some gigs. But, I want to know that I'm not just doing it for, my mother.
Right. Yeah.
I want to be able to, and whatever money I would raise, I would put it toward the charity.
Oh, that's tremendous.
Yeah.
Now, have you performed recently? Do you still perform?
I haven't. My friend Mark Rivera, who is Billy Joel's sax player and Ringo Starr's musical director, called me a couple of weeks ago and asking me to come out to some of his gigs. He does like a solo gig, and so occasionally I go out and sit in and stuff like that. But after the Knockouts were over and Time of My Life did its thing, I became more of a dad.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And I have a son that's just graduated high school a few days ago and got a full scholarship to play baseball at Wagner College. So
nice.
I go to his ball games, and he's a pitcher. And
it's awesome.
I just enjoy that. I write when a project comes along. There's actually a guy named Joe Sarasano that I've been working with, who's like a country singer.
Yeah.
But he has this Springsteen thing about him. He was in a band called Silver Condor.
Okay.
On CBS. And Earl Slick was in that band.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
do you get that urge though? I mean, you ever get that urge to just, to get some guys together to write some new tunes, however you want to put it out, and then go out and tour?
Well, you know what? I'm still top bill in my shower.
Yeah, but that's a small audience. No?
Yeah, but I don't get booed in there.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. I got a hard time thinking though that that's the case. I mean, at this point, right? I mean, you made it you can sort of write your own ticket. I mean, why not go out and do what you want to do, and sort of get your yayas out.
I will if the record starts to do something and it raises some awareness, and guys like you are helping me do that, so thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you guys for helping out the cause. And if the fans, I have like a FrankeTheKnockouts.com, and I have a Facebook, Frankie the Knockouts. If enough fans go on there and go, Frankie, we want to hear you play, I'll do it. But, I'll wait to see if that happens.
It seems to me, though, you do this thing under the banner of the charity that, I think you could raise a lot of money doing that, even if it's a one-off gig, you know what I mean? You get some other people on the band, and maybe you could pry Tico away from the cult of Bon Jovi, and
well, you never know,
right? I mean, who knows? So,
I'm sure Tico would come out and play a gig or two with me.
See, I think that's a good deal, man. I'm all for it. I support it.
Yeah,
just do it somewhere where I can go.
All right.
And hypothetically, if Frankie and
Where
the
are you guys from?
We're in Los Angeles. We're at the Westwood One Studios in Los Angeles.
That's great.
But if hypothetically, if Frankie and the Knockouts were to do a gig, would you have to wear the 1982 mustache?
Well, I have it in the drawer.
Okay, good.
I do have it in the drawer.
All right.
And but I don't know if I could put it on now. It's shrunk.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe we'll put it. No, we ain't putting that thing on either. Nice try.
But Frankie, we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. We've had a lot of fun. We want to make sure everybody knows to go check out the new Frankie and the Knockouts anthology. All of the proceeds are going to help a very worthy cause. Before we let you go, though, we always have 3 questions we like to ask at the end of the interview. So the first thing that pops into your mind, what was the first record you ever bought?
Good Lovin' by the Rascals.
Nice.
There you go.
That's a good tune.
We haven't gotten a Rascals one yet, so that's good.
If you didn't get into music and songwriting, what else do you think you'd be doing now?
You know, I probably some type of architectural. You know, I've owned about 8 or 9 homes, and I've done like a lot of renovating to them, and I enjoy doing that. So my wife goes, "You're a frustrated architect."
Funny.
That's way too brainy for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And last question, but very important. If you were trapped on a desert island and you could only bring one Rush album with you, which would it be?
God.
We get that response a lot too.
But we love that question.
Yeah.
The first Rush album.
That's a good answer.
Oh, he's a Rutsy fan.
Yeah.
Okay,
very nice.
fair enough.
Very nice. Frankie, thanks again. This has been a lot of fun for us. Big fan, and we're gonna keep spreading the word, and hope good things come for the record and for the charity.
Yeah, we hope we get to see you play. That would be fun.
Yeah, and the mustache.
Yeah. Have to break it out.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys, thanks so much. I appreciate
You bet. Have
Thanks,
a great
Frank.
night.
Take care.
Have a good one.
All right.
All right.
There you go. Franke Previte, good times.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
I'll tell you, he's a cool guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Very cool.
There's a lot of ways that interview could have gone, man. He's a champ. That's good.
Our first Academy Award winner in the bin.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know, what does that mean for us?
I don't know, but we also have an award-winning aroma in the bin right now because the lovely Rachel, the Black Metal Warrior Princess, is in the building.
She is. Hi, Rach.
Yeah, so that's all good, and we're going to get to that in just a moment.
I'll tell you something. I want his Academy. I want some of his Academy Award money.
Yeah, right. I'm glad he's comfortable with being honest, because a lot of people, you start bringing up how much you make, you bring up the money, and they're like, no, I'm not going to talk about that. He came clean. He doesn't have to work again.
No, man, he shouldn't have. You write a song like that, you shouldn't have to. And we talk about this with some of the other people that we've interviewed and whatnot. It's something when you can write hit songs. You know what I mean? When you can write like hit songs, it's like the gift that keeps on giving, like you said.
Right.
But when you write a song like that becomes like one of the most poignant moments in an iconic film.
Right.
I mean, that's like that longevity doesn't go away. It's forever.
Yeah.
And that's pretty impressive.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, everybody should check that anthology out, Frankie and the Knockouts. It's the 30th anniversary of Sweetheart, which was his first big hit, and I'm going to play it for you right now.
He's a good guy. You should go support him. Go support that charity and help him out. Go buy this anthology. It's good stuff.
And here's Sweetheart.
It's hard to be strong.
Used Bin Radio. What are you listening to?
Listen!
Very good. Well, that was Frankie and the Knockouts, and that was Sweetheart. And if you're just joining us, you just missed Franke Previte of Frankie and the Knockouts. He joined us to talk about the anniversary edition of Frankie and the Knockouts, the Sweetheart edition.
Academy Award-winning Franke Previte.
Yes, that's what I meant. That's what I was going to say. But, yeah, he was awesome, and we appreciate him hanging out with us for a little while in the bin. And go pick up that anthology. It's for a good cause, and there's some great tunes on there. And if you don't remember Frankie and the Knockouts, pick it up, and you will remember them. They had a string of hits in the early 80s, so that was good fun. And this is Silverchair, by the way. This was in honor, this is a week late, in honor of the end, maybe temporary end of Silverchair.
Yeah, I've come to grips with that now, by the way.
I was nervous for you.
Yeah, I was really bummed because, like I said, Diorama was a very special record to me. But the truth is, I didn't love Young Modern when it came out after Diorama, and I think the last thing I'd want them to do is dilute the catalog because they really only have 5 records, and a couple of them are really solid. But Diorama is the centerpiece. It's the masterpiece, and I'd hate for this to drag out and get weirder. So.
There's such an interesting band in the sense where they started when they were teenagers, and they started with the Frog Stomp record.
I think there were 6.
Yeah, and the Frog Stomp record, which is a very cool record, and but it's a Nirvana record, and rightfully so. They were impressionable kids, and that's what was happening when they were writing music. So it's all good, but to go from that to this, it's very different. So kudos to them. At least they grew up and they matured and they turned into what they are. But if it's over, that's the way to end it. Is to not, like you said, dilute the catalog. So very cool. What do you think, Joe Mama? Time?
I think I've been wondering all week. I've been wondering, God, what's going on in the music news? I wish there was somebody that I could ask who had all the answers and could bring me up to speed. And that's why I just have to say that it's time for Rachel with the music news. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Rachel, the Black Metal Warrior Princess, is here to fill you in on all the ongoings in the music world. Hey, Rachel, how's it going?
You always get me with that. That's one breath, right?
Yeah. Hi, Rach. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on with you?
Oh, a little of this, a lot of that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What have you been listening to this week? Anything good?
Oh. I couldn't do the whole David Lee Roth thing. I just, you know what? You have to be, there's a time and a place, and it just wasn't this week.
All right, well, we should bring everyone up to speed on that, because at the end of last week's show, as soon as we went off the air, Rachel said something, and I made a reference to, she said it was a good show, and I said, damn good, and I made a reference to the David Lee Roth song, Damn Good, from the Skyscraper record, which Rachel was shocked that I would actually reference David Lee Roth, being that everybody knows my feelings about Dave. However, that record in particular is, I think, just an excellent record, and it's a borderline prog record. In fact, the song Skyscraper, I would say, is a progressive rock tune. So I love that record, and both Joe and I share our love with that record. So Rachel was shocked when I said it. No, see, that's the good news, is that's not that Dave. That's the Tool Dave from Van Halen, So anyway, we tried to convince Rachel that she should go listen to the Skyscraper record, and apparently it didn't work out so good.
Just not this week.
Oh,
it just wasn't the week.
No, that's fair.
There was a lot going on this week.
No, that's fair. You sort of got to be in the mood, I guess, for Dave.
Yeah.
But that record you're going to like. I really do think you're going to like that record. It's not what you... It's not... What if you have any preconceived notions as to what a David Lee Roth solo record? Thank you. I was thinking about doing that, but I didn't want to make the noise. I'm glad you did it. If you have any preconceived notions as to what it would sound like, it's not.
So this is before the cocaine took over and things got really gay. right?
Well, that's actually an interesting. Here, let me give you my perspective, and then I'll let Joe give you his perspective.
All right.
Because I think it's sort of in the middle. It's almost like he came down for about a month, and he
wrote the record.
Yeah, he had a moment of clarity, and he actually wrote the record because he was the coked out binged Dave during some of those Van Halen years, and then he got like in the gay coked out binge Dave in the later years. But sort of, he had a nice run where he wasn't
going crazy.
Yeah, no, he wasn't a tool during this period. Yeah. Anyway, that's Joe. I'm feeling you.
I think that's kind of fair, actually. Look, everybody knows my love and worship and respect for the first 6 Van Halen records. I think they're musical genius, and everything Dave was doing was great. Now, off record, or behind the scenes, yeah, he was getting wackier and wackier for sure. And when he did the EP, the Crazy from the Heat EP, we all saw him in those colorful videos and in fluorescent colors, and then Eat 'Em and Smile. There was a lot of spandex and hair plugs going on. It was all a little crazy and Yankee rosed out. But yeah, moment of clarity. Skyscraper, I think he knocked one out of the park that time. I think it was best thing he had done at that point in a long time. Sure. And just still to this day, some of the tracks on that record, well, you'll discover them.
Underrated?
When you get to listen to them. Very underrated. Yeah, the song Skyscraper, Knucklebones, Hot Dog and a Shake. That's great stuff. That would have been a great Van Halen song even. But Damn Good Times is so good, and Hina. And there was a lot of great tunes on that record.
Yeah, and I'll cop to it. I like Eat 'Em and Smile. I really do. I don't think that's a bad record at all. It's funny. Franke Previte said something I thought was really cool, which is that if you don't listen to something for 10 or 15 or 20 years, however long it is, when you listen to it again, you sort of listen to it with new ears. And maybe it'll be like that with that Dave record, because I think that's a good record. Eat 'Em and Smile's not a bad record. Yankee Rose was, it's silly. At the beginning of it's just really silly, but it's not a bad tune. Right. I don't think anyway. Right? Steve Vai, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. I think just the bad taste from the silly video is why I think of that. But the song was rocking.
I agree.
The record had, Elephant Gun and
great tune.
Ladies Night in Buffalo. That was a great record too.
Seriously, those tunes are that is jazz David Lee Roth. Like Ladies Night in Buffalo, you're like, you're drunk at the Holiday Inn bar. You know what I mean? Smoking cigarettes, wondering who the guy is next to you, and you're listening to that tune.
But he was even credible when he did some of that kind of thing, because he didn't have to rock all the time. Even in Halen, I mean, we saw, he could pull off something like Big Bad Billy Sweet William Now and make it fun. Yeah. And that was sort of the same thing on Skyscraper, the closing track, Two Fools a Minute. That was another one of those kind of fun, goofy songs, but the kind of thing where you go, all right, I do like this song.
Yeah. Look, this is a first. Joe and I are 100% in agreement about David Lee Roth. This has probably never happened in the history of Used Radio. Look at all the people. All right, now you just killed it. Way to fuck it up, pal. We were having a moment. We were on a roll. And
perfect harmony.
All brought to a screeching halt by the tooled out David Lee Roth.
Aww.
All right, Rach.
All right.
Now that we went on a run about David Lee Roth.
I know.
What's happening in the news?
Well,
yeah.
You know how we like to start with Rush stories. Here's a little quickie.
Okay.
Now that everybody knows what a BPM is.
Right.
Check out David Letterman this week. He's doing the drum solo week. Let me refer to my notes. Last night we had Anton Vig.
Oh, Anton Vig.
Tonight we have Sheila E. Wednesday, Roy Haynes. And Thursday, to end the drums, Neil Peart.
What a funny... I don't know, how do I feel about him being in the same group as Sheila E.?
I don't mind that. I mean, she's certainly a different genre and a different era and all of that. But I mean, she's credible in her own way. But even more, I'm just shocked that this would be the place that he would break his TV silence, because they've done 2 TV appearances in the last 35 years, and one of them was just recently. Well, in the last couple of years, on Colbert, and he just doesn't pop up too often on TV. This is sort of an odd place for him to do that.
Yes, and they limit it to 3 to 4 minutes.
Right.
So
you know what? He's been all over the place lately. Neil has. Like, I mean, I don't know if it has to be under the guides of the book, of the new book that's coming out. And I just find it interesting that this is the book that he's chosen to do all the press about, because this is just a collection of stories. It's not like a newly, freshly written book. It's a collection of stories. So it's interesting that he's doing all the press behind this, but I think that's why he chose to do this. I mean, he did, and I'm going to butcher the name, and all the Canadians out there are going to kill us, but what's his name? George Strombert, I think, is the interview he just did, which is a incredibly well-respected guy in Canada, and he sat down with him for a while, and he just seems to be out there a little more, which is great. It's nice to see. Maybe he's getting over that fear a little bit. So maybe he'll remember he's a rock star.
Plus, in fairness, I mean, the heavyweight topic of some of his last couple of books and what he was going through really didn't lend itself for him wanting to go to a studio and say, oh, let's talk about what just happened in this book.
No, but a book like Traveling Music does. Yeah. Like, Traveling Music sort of feels like that's such a dual interest book, where it's a travelogue, you know what I mean, and then it's a music book all at the same time.
Absolutely.
So to me, that's a really interesting book, and I'm just wondering why now. But maybe, listen, he's probably really good in his life. He's got a baby. He's got a wonderful wife, I'm sure, and he's happy, and he's at a good place, and Rush is in a really good place, and all the notoriety with the documentary and all of that kind of stuff. It maybe just the timing is just good.
I think it all started with Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah, that's actually a fairly good point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because how often do those guys do anything outside of the band? Especially, Neil, I guess, does... he does a lot of the jazz stuff, and he's been so instrumental in keeping the drum channel moving and going. So, yeah, maybe the timing is just right.
Yeah, and you can go on YouTube and you can get a tour of the Time Machine drum set, piece by piece. So, enjoy.
Which I saw and touched in person at the NAMM show. I'm just saying.
We're not worthy.
I'm just saying.
Not worthy. Can I touch you, Joe? I want a piece of that.
Wow.
Awkward.
Hello. Another awkward moment.
That's right. Brought to you by Rachel, the Metal Warrior Princess, here at Used Bin Radio.
Oh, my God.
All right, what else is happening, Rach?
Well, can I take a little time out from the music news? I have to know, are you still with Vancouver? Are you a Canucks fan still?
Yeah. I'm on board.
All the way?
Totally. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Even after the whole biting incident?
Yeah, whatever.
And
listen, I understand how...
Wait a minute. There's a novice here. You guys are speaking Latin, so what's the biting incident?
So let's start at game 1, shall we? At the end of the first period, the fight breaks out. And let me tell you, this game is very intense. If you're not a hockey fan, you're going to love this. Tune in tomorrow night. Okay? It's really intense. It was a goalie's game. Things were getting heated. All right, so Patrice Bergeron got his finger bit by Tim Burrows from the Canucks. But he tried to do it in a sneaky way where he kind of got under his glove and bit his finger. No suspension. NHL did nothing about it. He still played the game. Here we go to game 2. He actually got the game-winning game. The game scored the game-winning goal. Thank you.
Sure.
In overtime. So slap in the face. We go to game 3. Now we're in Boston. Boston beats them 8-1. Spanks them even. After the first period, their star player gets a no-look elbow to the face and gets a major concussion. And that was it. It was on. Game was on. And after that, it was like things were falling apart, like little mishaps. A stick was broken. A stick was broken, and then Bruins scored. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? It's the hockey gods coming down on the ice and saying, we're not going to have this.
Did they play Neil's theme before the game?
No.
See, that was the problem. That would have settled everybody down.
No. Listen,
it's dirty. It's really dirty. Both teams are playing dirty. But,
I think shit happens. Like, it's the biting incident, you know? I mean, there's a lot of energy in that game. There's a lot of stuff going on. Whatever. Big deal. So he bit the fucking guy's finger. Big deal. What, was the guy out?
Who?
Did he hurt it? Did he break his finger? He couldn't play the rest of the game?
No, but the greatest thing is now every time there's a fight, they all stick their fingers in the face, so right by the teeth.
Look, they can stick their fingers in their face all they want. While the Canucks are, have a parade going on down in Vancouver with the Stanley Cup, they can stick their fingers in anyone's face as they want. I really think that. And as far as the no-look elbow goes, it's shitty, it's dirty, but man, that happens in hockey. That's like he's not the first person to get a no-look elbow like that.
No, he isn't. That's fair to say, but you know what? They're playing really, really dirty.
Listen, you know what? The Bruins are playing just as tough, right? And the Bruins are hitting just as hard. The Bruins are. I don't think the Bruins are as good as Vancouver. So
yeah, but you're pulling for Tim Thomas. I mean, he has that story. You're pulling for the guy. I mean, the guy's been in the league or struggling to get into the league for how long? I mean,
yeah.
There you go.
But there's stories like that on both teams. So do I feel bad for him? This is hockey.
Although I'd have
Look, man, you don't want to get hit in the elbow like that? Go fuck into the ballet. How's that?
I have to give it up to Luongo. He could pull a Chris Osgood and be like playing dirty and falling all over the ice, and he's not. So
really, I saw. Who did I see? I saw the Boston goaltender shoving people out of the way the other night.
Yeah, it gets a little rough, but I mean, I'm talking about Chris Osgood.
But I'm okay with all that.
Whoa! Yeah, flops all over the ice like, I got hurt.
Right.
But he didn't.
Well, she chips a nail and she cries. But at the end of the day, seriously, it's not the ballet. Hockey's a tough sport. Keep your head up. It's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going to get hit. Sometimes you're going to get really hurt. And it's unfortunate. It happens to be one of their better players. This is the way it goes. It's hockey.
It's hockey.
Well, I haven't seen any of that, but now I'm intrigued. I'm going to have to watch some of this progress because I want to see some ass kicking going on and some finger biting.
Absolutely. Okay, so I've taken up enough time with the whole hockey thing, or did we get an email?
No, we did. The guy's name who I was talking about, George.
You pronounce it. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, George Strombolopoulos.
George Strombolopoulos.
Polycornopoulos?
Wow, that's pretty large. That is quite a name.
Is that right?
Strombolopoulos.
Wow.
Well, hey, since you brought up hockey, do you know about Edmonton Oilers center Gilbert Brule?
What about him?
You know this story, don't you?
He just picked up a hitchhiker. He was driving around downtown Vancouver, and a guy who apparently was kind of wandering around and maybe was a little too far from where he needed to be was thumbing for a ride. So the Oilers center was nice enough to give him a ride and brought Bono back to the stadium where he needed to perform that night.
Wow!
And invited him backstage.
Yeah, he even made. Did you have the whole thing there where he made the comment from the stage? He said. He said, I was hitchhiking. This is Bono live from the stage. He says, I was hitchhiking in Vancouver yesterday. Actually, I was. And this guy and his girlfriend picked me up. He was cool, a nice hockey player. His name is Gilbert Brule. As it happens, I'm so grateful. I've decided I want to be Gilbert Brule.
Oh, thanks a lot, Bono. Now he's going to get charged with picking up hitchhikers.
Yeah. What's funny is Bono hitchhiking. Like, how funny does that look? You know what I mean? Even if you don't know who he is, just how funny does that look?
What's really funny is that Bono had his finger out and nobody bit it off.
Yeah. Well,
that's all right. If he would have, he still would have taken him to the gig.
But was he hitchhiking like this?
Yeah, exactly. With his fly glasses on.
Exactly. All right.
It's pretty funny. Was he alone, Bono?
He doesn't travel with an entourage?
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. So where was he that his vehicle broke down, that he was alone driving in Vancouver?
And he can't call a cab?
Well, the way I understand it, he was out for a stroll. It wasn't like his vehicle broke down. He wandered away from the hotel. He just wanted to take a look at Vancouver. He had like the afternoon off or something, and he wandered around. And I think he just kind of felt a little lost. Down. And I'm not sure what possessed him to hitchhike. I'm sure the guy carries, a BlackBerry or a cell phone or something where he could have called somebody, but he was, he was of the mind, I'm going to stick out my thumb, get a ride back to the hotel, and lucky enough, a sports celebrity picked him up. It's just a weird story, but ended well.
Yeah, that's a great story. I like stories like that.
It all ends well.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, it does.
No one got hurt.
That's right. Yet. What else is going on, Rach?
All right. I thought this one was interesting. The Norwegian Foreign Ministry has begun training aspiring diplomats in true Norwegian black metal. I kid you not. After foreign service missions reported a rise in inquiries about the musical genre from around the world. So
I actually get this, and the reason I'm thinking this is right on the money is because I remember watching that movie, which they play the hell out of on VH1, the Headbanger's Journey, where the guy traces the roots of metal and goes to Norway and meets with all the murderers and black metal underbelly, and when he's flying in and he passes through customs in Norway, he has to explain the camera, and he explains to somebody on the film that he's doing a movie about metal. And even the security guy, who was like this 70-year-old dude checking passports, he goes, black metal?
Yeah.
So, I think it's like their biggest export. I think they all gotta know what's going on. And so diplomats need to be just as well versed in it as, Southern California diplomats need to be versed in the Beach Boys and beach culture or whatever. It's part of who they are.
Well, yeah, it's absolutely right. I think that makes perfect sense. It's no different than our congressmen needing to be familiar and updated with like Twitter and direct messaging and how to Twitter
or
and how
Paul
to direct
Revere.
And how to or Paul Revere or how to direct message pictures of your erect penis or not actually maybe to direct message pictures of your erect penis. It's just rad, isn't it? Like the whole thing is great. Dude's name is Wiener. It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, it's like it was his destiny.
It's just rad. Like the whole thing is cool. Anyway, I'm proud of that little wiener. Go ahead. Sorry. We completely digressed.
Is it little? Did you see it?
Awkward.
Awkward moment.
Just curious.
I thought it was pretty solid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a solid. It was, it was reasonable. It all comes down to what's considered big and small. So I thought it was pretty solid. It's fun. I was telling Leah this. I don't want to totally get into this whole thing, but quickly, if you don't know what we're talking about, the congressman from New York got busted sending pictures of his wiener inside his underpants to different people, and he thought he was sending him on Twitter, and then he denied it, and he had a huge press conference about it and the whole deal. But so I was telling Leah, the thing about this guy is he was just such a nerd. Like, look at him. He's just a tool.
Right.
He's a total tool. And look at him.
And then he got P90X.
Totally.
Right?
Got P90X, and he realized he's really smart. Right. You know what I mean? So he excelled in everything that was nerdy. But now he's a congressman. So check me out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look at how many chicks I can get.
Suck on this, bitches.
Right. That's right. Look at my wiener. Look at my wiener.
My name's Wiener, and I got a wiener.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check it out. Did you hear what he said when he was denying everything? He said, I can't really identify those gray underpants. I can't be sure that they were my gray underwear or not. That's genius.
Yeah, they could have been my boyfriend's.
This is going a whole different direction
guys.
now.
Sorry. Oh, boy.
All right.
So, talking about porn stars, Biohazard bassist vocalist Evan Seinfeld has left the band. And in a short statement, guitarist and co-founder of the band, Bobby Hamble, he said, "We have a long history together, but it's time for a change, and we wish Evan well." So we really don't know what happened.
The Biohazard, right?
Yeah. It kind of sounds like he got,
I know what happened.
Told the exit.
I don't know. Is Evan in porn, or is just his wife in porn?
No, they're both, and he's didn't she quit porn? She's like, I'm over porn.
Different wife.
And he's
got a new wife.
The previous. Oh, is she a porn star too?
Yeah.
The new one?
Yeah.
Okay. Tara Patrick, the first wife.
Right. They started like Tara Patrick Productions or whatever. TerraVision is what
she's
it was
like,
called.
I'm over it. And he goes, no, you're not. We'll do it together.
Yeah, they started TerraVision together, and he was managing her career and doing all that kind of stuff. And then he
Real shady.
Long story short, I mean, then, they split up, and now he's, marrying another porn star and handling her career. But, look, he's got his wiener in a lot of different things. And it's not gray underpants, I'm guessing. But, he's got his hands in a lot of different things, and truthfully, who gives a shit about Biohazard? Does anybody?
Well, I think he's the face of Biohazard.
Yeah,
that's right.
So everyone, now you know, he's gone.
To be totally honest, I didn't even know they were still together. I thought they broke up a long time ago. I remember he popped up on the show with Nugent and Jason Bonham and Sebastian Bach. I thought that was the last time he was in a band.
I think he's cool. I really do.
You do?
Yeah, I think Evan Seinfeld's cool. Yeah, I think he comes across as being a totally comes across as being a fine guy. He's a guy I'd hang out with, probably. Just not my, I'm not a huge Biohazard fan.
No.
And I don't really think that, there's huge demand for Biohazard out there. And quite frankly, his band probably wants to be in a band that makes music and goes out and tours, and it's not not saddled with all the other stuff he's got going on. Yeah. They probably just want to go make music. You can't blame them.
You can't blame them.
No.
Who doesn't want to make music?
You can't beat it.
Who doesn't want to be a rock star?
Hey, if you can't beat it,
then have somebody else do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter.
And we'll ring that victory bell like we always wanted to. All right.
Totally. Hey, just a quick hello to Dean, who's listening
Hi, Dean.
And not sober.
Oh, nice. Hi, Dean.
That's the best way to listen.
Hello, Dean.
Hi, Dean.
This is the Central Scrutinizer.
What are you drinking tonight? How's your foot?
It was. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. All right, you got one more for us, young lady?
Okay, what do you think? Judas Priest? Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
No Judas Priest. We're done with Priest.
We're done with Priest.
Yeah.
Hey, did you listen to the Judas Priest Lady Gaga?
I guess we're not.
We're not done.
So much for that.
We're done when I say we're done.
Fuck. This is Rachel's show now. Been taken over.
Just real quick, did you listen to the mashup of Lady Gaga with Judas Priest?
No, have not listened.
Haven't heard it. What song?
So she has a song on a new album, or her new album, called Judas, and it's basically about an ex-boyfriend who was a huge Judas Priest fan, and
she's so metal.
So she's singing the song about Judas, and then they mashed it up with, I think it was Painkiller. Or
that's pretty rad.
Or it was Screaming for Vengeance. I can't remember which one it was. But it was great because mostly what you hear actually is all Judas Priest.
Nice.
And it's mixed in with the song, and it's pretty funny. And she's all, Judas, Judas, and they're all Priest. It's pretty good.
Where can we find that? Is it on YouTube or something?
You can go on YouTube. Absolutely.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll go check that out.
Yeah. Sure. Go have some fun. It's actually quite funny. And it's synchronized perfectly.
Oh, nice.
It was like it was meant to be.
What if you listen to that while you're watching The Wizard of Oz? No? It's not synchronized perfectly? What about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? No?
That works.
That does. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Just checking. Yeah. All right, very good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do that while I'm listening to Nostradamus 486 times in a row.
Or their new box set with all their singles. There goes another $100.
I got some.
She's got one more.
Oh, you got one more?
Oh yeah, yes,
yeah.
yes, I do. About Yes. Okay.
Right.
So Yes are to release the band's 20th studio album on July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And it's titled Fly From Home.
Fly From Here.
Fly From Home.
Fly From Here, right?
No.
Fly From Here.
No.
No?
No.
Check your source.
Really?
Okay, yeah.
Gosh.
No, you're right. No. Rachel's right. It is Fly From Home. This is fucking Rachel's show, so I'd like to publicly apologize. Fly From Home.
Are you ready? And it features their new singer. It's the debut of their new singer, Joe.
Benoit David.
There you go.
Yeah, he's well, it's his debut recording with them.
Recording in the studio.
Yeah, he's been with them. I'm guessing it's probably about 5 years now. He's been doing the Yes tours with them, and it's no bueno. But I'm curious to hear the record. I've mentioned this before. The title track from the new record is actually something that they used to perform live back in 1980, but never recorded. So they're finally getting around to recording a very, very old track, albeit with the new singer. But I'm curious to hear it and see where they want to take this thing. Maybe on record it works, whereas live I was not exactly blown away. I was not levitating, let's say.
Right.
No,
by the way, the Priest song is Nightcrawler. That's what I was told. the mashup with Stephanie Gaga. Stephanie Gaga. Will you turn this up just a half second? Come on now, everybody.
It sounds a little like Steel Dragon.
Who is it? You know who this is? Come on, you know who this is. I'll give you a hint. You just gave me the record.
Is this off a Derek Sherinian record?
That's XYZ.
Oh, that's XYZ.
I had to double check and make sure I wasn't nuts. Yeah, XYZ. And Frampton. Just kidding. All right, sorry, we've completely digressed. So, yes, Stone chimed in with Nightcrawler.
Oh,
yes.
Thanks, honey.
Whatever.
I love you.
Oh, jeez. Way to let the air out of the balloon.
You're the greatest.
What are you listening to? Reissued Radio.
Oh yeah. All right. So more Yes news. Was that it? Just that they have the records coming. When is the record out?
July 1st.
For July 1st.
July 1st.
Soon.
Very soon.
Yeah. I've made this mention a few times on the air, and I don't want to totally get into it all over again, except that, I want John Anderson back, and I'll do whatever it takes to get him back. So,
what's that? What are you going to do?
There's just a part of me that hopes that it fails.
Who are you gonna call?
And I'm such an asshole for saying it. I feel like a jerk.
He's going to give Chris Squire a friendly.
Yeah, that's if I can get around his ass. But yeah, I do. There's a part of me that just hope it doesn't do well, and it forces them to reunite with John Anderson. That's what I would prefer. But we'll see. I'm as anxious as everyone else to hear the record. So we'll see.
And as soon as that comes out, I know that there's going to be a Yes tour, which, again, I probably will not attend because I just don't love what they do live. But they will be touring, and as I've also mentioned on the show, the one great thing about these shows, if you maybe just feel the need that you have to go, at least the set list is going to be impeccable because they are pulling out some great old Yes songs, some of the epics, some of the hits, some deep tracks, and they really do a great job of putting a set list together, but it's not John Anderson. There's lots of other tour news besides Yes, actually, that I wanted to mention. Some good stuff. One in particular I think is going to be very much of interest to somebody in the room besides Brad. But a co-headlining tour, which is going all across America and ends up, I think the final night of the tour actually is going to be here in Los Angeles in October, is two bands. One of which I played on the show a couple of weeks ago. Brad didn't love them. They're called Ghost. They kind of sound like retro 70s Blue Oyster Cult. And they're co-headlining with a little band called Enslaved. Yeah, that was a good reaction, actually. I knew you'd like that. Also of note to metal old schoolers, last week we were talking about this band Pentagram. Out of nowhere, I find out they're going to be playing in Southern California, but for the first time in 37 years. They're going to be playing at the Echoplex, which I believe is in Silver Lake. And they're putting together something called the Power Riff Festival. And it's like an all-day event with all these sort of gloom metal bands. I didn't know many of them. There's a band called Winter on the bill, a band called All Pigs Must Die, and Pentagram is going to be headlining that delightful little shindig.
The Echoplex is where Chris Robinson, I think, just finished up a residency there from the Black Crowes.
Is that right?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the... Will you do something with my headphones real quick?
What would you like me to do with them?
I don't know. They sound really hollow, like I can't hear... There. Good morning.
Hello. How are you?
Thank you. I'm back. Yeah. All right. Well, give me a review.
Okay. I'll keep you posted.
I'll go.
All right, give me a review.
Also, the Deer Hunter, who we champion on this show all the time, and I guess it's okay for us to let it out of the bag. We have heard advanced copies of the Color Spectrum CD, which is coming out. I believe it comes out next week. I really like it. I mean, I love this band to begin with, but what they did on this record is really interesting. It certainly raises to some levels of power in some of the tracks, but there's a lot of pop going on. And for me personally, what I found really enjoyable is there's a couple of tracks that are right out of sort of the Brian Wilson Pet Sounds / Smile playbook. And I really like the arrangements, and there's some subtle harmonies, a lot of good stuff going on. But it certainly sounds like Deer Hunter, so if you're a fan before, you're going to love it. And if you're new to them, check out the Color Spectrum. They're going to start a headlining tour, though, which starts in July in San Francisco, and it takes them a full month to go around the country and end up back in California in Pomona at the Glass House. And I think we'll be there. It's on a Saturday night.
He's rad. Casey. He's rad, and he writes great tunes. And
he's got such an interesting voice too.
Yeah, I can't imagine this record sucking, and it didn't.
Yeah, it's really good.
And I'll be quite honest with you, I've heard half of it, and I loved everything I heard. I mean, this guy, he's the real deal when it comes to modern pop progressive songwriting. Like he's nailed it.
I wouldn't even want to scare people off with the word progressive, because I don't get a lot of that on this record. I think of it as modern alternative.
But
pop rock.
But that band isn't, though. That band is very modern progressive.
That's fair.
I mean, if you listen to the first 3 albums, it's very modern pop progressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't mean progressive in a note density kind of way. That's certainly not what I'm referring to. But if if we're talking about, pop music type of progressive, he's really nailed it. And he's really he's one of those guys that's like that underground superstar kid that I'm glad makes records, and he should be able to write his own ticket for the rest of his career. I would hope.
Yeah, I agree.
The way the modern day music business works, I would think he could do that. So.
I think I'm right in saying this is going to be their first headlining tour, because we've seen them before, and they're usually opening for somebody. Yeah. But I think this may be their first headlining tour, and it's long overdue. And
it'll be good to see him get a long set finally.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope he gets the accolades he's due.
When your first 3 albums are concept records, you can't help but be labeled progressive.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's sort of the way it is. But this record, obviously not being a concept piece, although it's thematic in the fact that it's the color spectrum, but it's not conceptual, and it's large. I mean, like I said, the guy is just an exceptional songwriter.
Yeah, agreed. And if that isn't progressive, then this definitely is, because later this year, hitting the road for the first time in a very long time, we have American Dates, ladies and gentlemen, from Renaissance. This could be their, 40. It could be their 45th anniversary tour. In all honesty,
55th.
Yeah, right. And for this round of dates, no West Coast yet, but East Coast dates so far in September. For this round of dates, they're going to be playing not 1 but 2 of their 70s classics albums in their entirety. The Turn of the Cards album from '74, and their masterstroke, their epic, if you will, Scheherazade and Other Stories from '75 in their entirety. It's going to be large. It's going to be a lot of prog. It's going to be very big. I'm just saying. Can we get a West Coast date, please? Can a brother get a West Coast date?
It's all just silly, isn't it? It's all silly. Let's play a song, no?
Yeah.
Let's play a track. What do you have in mind?
Oh, dude, I could go crazy right now. Do you want me to go crazy or just take it safe? Safe or crazy?
Always go crazy. I mean, there's no such thing as
safe or crazy.
Always crazy.
All right, I'm gonna go crazy.
What are you gonna play, Marillion?
No, it's a little crazier than that.
At this moment, you should be with us, feeling like we do, like we love to, and I will again. I miss you, my dear Ziola.
I'm Debbie Gibson, and this has to be the silliest show I have ever heard.
Dude, live 3 days by Jane's.
Nothing wrong with that.
Dude, it just so doesn't suck much.
I was in the mood for that. So, yeah.
That was
all good.
A beautiful tune. Next week, here in the Used Bin, live in studio with his acoustic guitar, the return of the great John Wesley. And we'll be talking about the Lily Pad Suite, which is his new EP that's out on his website. And but he'll be here to talk all about that. We got a lot to talk
about his current tour and
lot to talk
and
about
the future of Porcupine Tree and all kinds of good things.
All right. Let us go to the phones because I believe on the line is Joyce's boyfriend, Kyle.
Is that the first time you've been introduced that way?
Truncated, yeah, that's my new name. I guess I'm going to get that legally changed.
Yes, nice. You're Joyce's BF.
We only have like 12 minutes left or whatever, but among other things, I guess maybe you mentioned it, maybe Rachel mentioned it, maybe you did not. The Dream Theater album information came out.
We were saving it for you. So, so the floor is yours.
The title of the record is called A Dramatic Turn of Events, and there's
Ain't that
9
the truth?
songs. There's a video with Petrucci talking about it, which I have not watched, but anyway, it's like 2 minutes. But I could go over the track. On the Backs of Angels, Build Me Up, Break Me Down, Lost Not Forgotten, This Is the Life, The Shaman's Trance, Outcry, Far From Heaven, Breaking All Illusions, and Beneath the Surface. So,
what's the longest track on the record?
Is there time? Is there times?
Yeah, what's the longest solo? And does Mangini have a lot of room to play some cowbell?
We need more cowbell.
It always needs more cowbell.
Yeah.
Does it have the times on there?
The information on their official website and what John Petrucci posted on Facebook does not, but maybe
he knows
video.
Better.
I don't know.
He knows better.
Yeah,
he knows that's the first thing that every Dream Theater fan's looking for. Is all right.
Yeah, which
where's
one's
the 15-minute tune?
Yeah, which one's more than 15?
Right.
Where's our epic? Where do we get?
Yeah. It sounds like there's a lot of songs on there, right? What's the note? Was it like 10?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, who knows if some of these have like multi-part
That's true. But that's a lot of songs.
Quick,
multi-ball!
Segue pieces.
Yeah, that's a lot of tunes on a Dream Theater record. Yeah. Usually there's about 8.
Nothing on the Deer Hunter.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very interesting. Well, that's good news because both Joe and I did not know that. So I'm glad that you called in.
Well, I was listening to the show tonight, so I figured it'd be relevant to pass along on the show.
Always relevant to pass along Dream Theater information to this group.
A dramatic turn of events. Very appropriate, I would say.
Very
good job on their part. Well, we'll see. I can't wait. I'm frothing at the mouth for this record, so I know it comes out in September.
Is every song a reference to Portnoy's leaving, or
it's like,
a certain section?
I can't do. Fuck, are we really going to start that now? The record doesn't come out till September. We are going to dissect the title.
We're going to dissect the title.
You know it's coming.
Yeah.
I just thought we could maybe get a bit of a reprieve because it doesn't come out until September.
Yeah, we got to be like Darren. We got to pace ourselves before we get excited.
That's right.
Right.
We have to Ian pace ourselves.
That's right. So
really
I'm sure in the coming months we'll start picking apart titles before we've heard a single note. But for tonight, let's just sit with the album title.
Because we could dissect the album title for a full show.
We absolutely could, because we're just that kind of show. But that is very appropriate. So thanks for sharing that. That's good to know. I'm excited.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
How's Joyce?
Joyce actually was in a great mood this evening. I mean, I can just tell you that she met with the college she's looking to apply to.
Yeah.
And the experience was definitely better, the music library science program.
Excellent.
So, but it's definitely, we're talking about what she's going to have to do in terms of her future, her schedule, her current job, all this stuff.
Dude, you guys are having grown-up conversation.
Yeah, right?
I know, but I could just tell a slight little snippet of what one of her friends was wondering why we're so serious, and it's well, we're not in our 20s anymore. We kind of have to be a little more,
right?
Go move a little faster than some people might.
Kyle, what are you hinting at, pal?
I don't know. I'm not, I mean, she's not moving in with me or anything like that, but I'm just saying, the fact that it feels like we've been dating for 6 months, and even though we've been only dating for 2 months, it shouldn't be that weird because we're in our mid-30s rather than our mid-20s.
Right. I see what you're saying. I get it.
That's fair. I'll just put this out there. If at any point in the future you decide you have like a serious question that you want to ask someone, if you want to do it on Used Bin Radio, the forum is yours, pal. I'm just saying that.
I told her that they want to like find out an update on her with you guys.
That's right.
You guys with, but she doesn't know your number. But she said, "Well, I know you're going to be listening, so I don't know if it would mean anything to like call up and."
Let me tell you our number. Our number is at usedbin.com. It's on the World Wide Web.
It has to be like a night like when I have a conflict and she can call up or something.
Right. Let me ask you a quick question. Were you guys? Did you guys tonight happen to be like cuddling and listening to the show? I just want to know that. I just
want a visual. You want the visual?
I need to know
half of that equation was sort of true.
So you were listening to the show but not cuddling.
No, they were cuddling but not listening to the show.
All right, whatever.
She was all happy, and I had to turn the volume down. And then every so often, she was telling me these letters. I'd turn the volume up. See what you guys talking about, like Blackfield and Stephen Wilson. Then the interview, and I was just trying to hear her and you guys at the same time.
So you were getting a little sidetracked, and she wanted all your attention.
In a sense, but it wasn't a planned experience.
No, that's okay.
You have to work in the morning. I have to work in the morning. We weren't supposed to get together tonight, but it just so happened. She was too excited to tell me about this news that she did. Good.
All right. Well, that's all good, man. Well, I'm very happy for her. I'm happy for you, and thank you for the Dream Theater info because we both had 3 of us had no idea about that. So, good job, dude. Thanks for the breaking news.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Later,
all
Kyle.
right, take care.
Good night.
Bye. Nice. Yes. Someone's raising their hand. Oh, I know what you're raising your hand for, because it's that time of the night. Because isn't it about time, Rachel, that you got your own website? I mean, I don't want to offend anybody, but it just seems like everyone's got one these days. I mean, like, I don't want to I don't want to pose the question. I want to be a little too forward, but what are you waiting for?
Where's my website?
Yeah, where is your website? In fact, if for any possible reason you had a business, and let's just go crazy and say maybe you're in a hot new band, Tool, or maybe you just discovered some smoking hot naked photos.
Wiener.
Of the lead singer of Renaissance?
No. Some, of your local congressman. I'm just saying that you want to share with the world. Here would be your chance.
Can I get a discount?
You can, because thanks to our partnership with GoDaddy.com, it's never been easier to get online and get my balls rolling. Yeah. Because if your name is Wiener, we got your back. And we're here to help. So, here's the deal. First, get some head over at purerockradio.net/
Not Axel.
GoDaddy. Then just enter coupon code POD167 at the time of purchase, and just because you listen to this show, you're going to save 10%. And how cool is that? Well, you might ask, how cool is that? I might just say, that is very cool. And you want to know why? Well, I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Because you're probably thinking, man, I really want a picture of myself in my gray underpants. And man, I really want my own site. And I don't know anything about setting up a webpage. But fear not. Because there are photos of myself in my naked underpants all over Twitter, and I enjoy cake. So, GoDaddy offers lots of free tools, hello Danny Carey, to help you create your site and to get you up. Now, every time you use coupon code POD167, you'll be supporting Used Bin Radio and our pals at purerockradio.net.
Hi, pals.
So check us out.
Check me out.
And the complete list of coupon codes at purerockradio.net/
Not Axel.
And say hi to Mark Wiener for us.
Hi, Mark.
Wiener.
His name's Wiener.
Dude, it's just bitchin'. It's so cool his name is Wiener. Oh yeah, we're ready to go. I think we're... Nice. How are we looking on time there, Money in the Bank? 2 minutes! 2 minutes! To the end of the show. Dude, that was great live, James. Did you see they got inducted into the Guitar Rock Hall of Fame? Guitar Rock Walk Hall of Fame.
That means they'll have to do one of those little ceremonies over by Guitar Center on Sunset. They did it already?
Yeah, they did it. Tom Morello.
Ever been to one of those?
I have.
I went to the one for Maiden, and you can barely
Sabbath one.
You can barely see anything because the whole street fills up, and unless you're right there, there's really not much going on.
I went to the Sabbath one. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Here's my question, though. This is what I really wanted to ask. You know how they have the Sunset Strip Music Fest?
Yes,
and we always bitch that they have a tendency to not get people that represented the Sunset Strip.
Right. Smashing Pumpkins should not have headlined.
How Jane's Addiction, although they are a Hollywood band, they're not a Sunset Strip band.
That's true.
Do they qualify?
Oh, absolutely.
Why is
Absolutely.
that?
Because I think it's just LA centric. I think, any band that had their roots in Los Angeles, any part of Los Angeles, it's a big city.
Well, the Pumpkins did a little bit.
Not really. They're Chicago-based band. Let's be honest. They have very little to do with the Sunset Strip.
But so does Jane's.
No, they at least played those clubs early in their career. They played those Sunset Strip. They'd play the Whiskey. They'd play, I
don't think they played those places very much.
Not very much, but they did.
Club Lingerie. They played underground
Lingerie,
clubs.
but
they were underground clubs.
But that's still Lingerie was still Sunset.
Yeah, but not the Strip.
Fair enough, but but they're an LA band, and they were from that period of time where the Sunset Strip meant LA.
I don't know that I would be totally good with them playing it. I mean, I get it. I just don't know if I'd be totally comfortable with it. They represented alternative and underground.
Yeah.
And for them to play something
Smashing Pumpkins?
Yeah, but
kind of does too.
Not at the end of their career. Well, I shouldn't say that. Not only the first two records. And the first two records were pop hits, were alternative K-rock hits.
I still think of them as alternative rock.
They are. They were,
as opposed to the true Sunset Strip music, which was the Motleys and the Poisons and that kind of thing.
See, I think that's what that is all about. But we'll finish this conversation next week because I think it's worthy of talking about. All right, quickly, Rich at Pure Rock Radio. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rich.
Terry Edwards and Max Krasny at Westwood One. Thank you very much.
Thank you, boys.
Rob Wilson, Chris Stone at Usman.com. Thank you very much.
I want to thank Franke Previte for a great interview tonight.
Thanks, Franke Previte.
Check out his record. And brother man,
dude,
it's been nice to see you.
And to see you. Nice. Good night, Rachel.
Usman Radio.
Good night.
See you next week.
What are you listening to?
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
You're listening to a live internet broadcast on Pure Rock Radio. At PureRockRadio.net.